Outside defensive 50. Mark to McManus. He plays on immediately. Kicks inside 50. He's Heavey once again. He takes an easy mark. About 25 metres out from goal, directly in front. Heavey for goal. Keeps it low. It's accurate. First goal on the board for the Lauderdale Bombers. McGannis doesn't get the knockout. Falls to Polfman for goal. It's the first goal of the day to the Blues. Opportunist goal there. Brody Polfman.
Oh, it's good hands out of traffic. Finds Franklin. His handball lets him down. There for, I think it's Blackberry under all that. It was. He was collected.
Oh, someone down here and badly injured too, I think. Blackberry's putting his hand up.
Someone in a spotter bother. It's a blue.
It's Lonigan.
Little ball inside. It's well gathered in the end by Brendan Taylor. He gets it off and finds Boyce, but Boyce had no idea where he was. He was caught in a tackle immediately.
Has the umpire called play on here? That's the question.
No, he's called 50. So Joe Boyce wanders on in, looked confident off the boot, and that's why. Straight through the sticks. And it's a goal for Launceston. Just swats it away, is picked up by Agarnis. He's everywhere, the big fella. Hands it off. And it's now with Kelly Mansell from the left pocket. He looks at goal and he says, I'll help myself, brother Kelly Mansell.
Ball up in the centre square once again. Leedham falls on top of his head. It's taken away by Boscott. Hasn't had much to do so far. Boscott up to attacking 50. Mark taken by Clinton Brown. He's clear now. He gets it in short. And a mark's taken by Bryce. That's Ray Hill from 45. Close to the man of the mark delivers. It's coming back nicely. It's a second goal on the board for Lauderdale. To Ray Hill. As Leedham does beautifully to Pelfreeman. Pelfreeman gets some space. He gets the handle off to Connor Smith from 30 out. Connor Smith on the left has put it through. Great team play there from the Blues. Generated by good ruck work to Pelfreeman. Then Connor Smith got clear. He's had a good first term, Connor Smith.
There for, who have we got there? It's Bill Chambers who goes to Havea. It's a vacant 50 for Lauderdale, and it's Boscott all on his own. A good shepherd coming, and Boscott can stroll on in and put through the first of the second term, and that's what he does, Thor Boscott.
They're on now here with Boscott. Boscott kicks up towards the advantage here of a Lauderdale teammate who takes the mark. That's Corey Laumsis, who's going to shoot for goal from about 15 metres out, directly in front. Great vision for Boscott. Corey Laumsis directly in front, and he makes no mistake, does he? Yes, it's straight into the netting. Goal to the Lauderdale Bombers.
Not one convincingly either way, but it's Franklin who emerges with it. And it's a good kick for Boscott, who comes out and claims it, and he's off straight away and puts it through. Thor Boscott tearing this game apart at Windsor Park. We'll go to Dylan Fife, who's a crafty player with ball in hand. The pocket rocket just nudges inside and finds Alex Hill. He might just try his best effort from about 45. Oh, he never looked like it. Handed off for Wiggins. The designated kicker goes boom from 50 and puts it through. Ryan Wiggins. Beautiful finish for the Bombers. So that is a massive divide in the free kick count. Sutton wanders on in, never really looked like it, puts it up to the top of the square, and what a mark! Alex Hill, if you don't mind, comes deep in the pack and takes a tremendous clunk. What a bit of work from big Alex Hill. In come Alex Hill, a little skip and a little kick, and through it goes. Alex Hill gets Lauderdale on the board here early in the third quarter. Indeed, it's with Ray Hill inside, finds McManus striding through the centre of Windsor Park. Finds Havea around 60 metres from goal, gets it moving out in front of Boscott. He'll run onto it, Boscott, from the pocket over the top. Heavey all on his own. Oh, he slips, but he recovers and puts it through. 2 in a row for Lauderdale to start this third term. Crosses 50, strikes it well. It's going towards goal. A pack forms, and it's a big mark. A big time mark taken right near the goal line by Thor Boscott. Who else is being dynamic? Pops it through, and it's another one for Lauderdale. Things are getting out of hand for Launceston.
Wish Wilson's there with none. Wish Wilson shovels it out towards Walsh. Now with Fife. Fife tries to get the handball over. Intercepted by Ruller Kelly Mansell. Shot for goal from Kelly Mansell. Round the corner. Has he done it? I think he has. That's 3 today for Ruller Kelly Mansell. It's a team lifter. That's what the Blues needed.
to Bryce Walsh, and Lauderdale away now. Boscott explodes. He's got just one to contend with in the 50. Spins around, puts it over the top. Lances will wander on in and put through another for Lauderdale. Beautiful work from Thor Boscott. Didn't panic, assessed the options, and it is Lauderdale's 10th of the game.
Rahill for goal. It's a high kick. Not going to make the distance. Boscott's there hovering again. Vanderveld falls straight to Roberts. It's a goal to Lauderdale. Off the fist of Vanderveld. Fell in the lap of Roberts. Could bring them back in the game. You see here comes Fife now. Out of the middle. Fife up towards Alex Hill again. Has he marked it? No, he hasn't. Nearly got purchase on it. Umpire's paid it, has he? He has. And once again, here's Alex Hill for goal. That's another one, Alex Hill. It's another one for Lauderdale. That's their 13th. Alex Hill is on fire here at Windsor Park. It's 85 to Launceston 6-3-39.
It's picked up by Stanley. Does well with hand. Finds a runner in front. Welcome to Blunston Arena for the TSL Preliminary Final. I struggled to spit that out. It is a massive match, a ticket to the grand final on the line between Lauderdale and Launceston. It's going to be massive. The conditions here far from ideal, but I think we're in for an absolute contested ball game, boys. I'm Damian Gill, bringing this one live to you. Alongside me is Brent, Costelloe and Cam Brown.
Afternoon, Gilly. As the heavens open up here at Blunston Arena, the rain is falling very, very heavy as we start this game, which will please the Lauderdale coach Darren Winter, who complained about the hardness of the surface a couple of weeks ago. Said he'd never come back and play here. Well, it'll be nice and soft out there today, Brownie.
It will be, Breno, and the rain is starting to get quite heavy as we speak. A couple of minutes away from this game, but what a match-up it'll be. Lauderdale obviously really disappointing last week, had their pants pulled down, so to speak, against a flying North Launceston outfit, nearly a 100-point loss. In the contrast side of things, Launceston, what a victory against Clarence last week. They've once again coming to Blunston Arena, a ground that is familiar to them, boys. They've won here the last two times. They were pretty competitive early on the year in a loss against Clarence, and really looking forward to seeing how they go about it, because they'll go in with a lot of confidence today, I would think.
Launceston have been the real story of this final series so far. Underdogs up against Glenorchy in the first week. They beat them. Underdogs again against Clarence, and they rolled them. They're up against a Lauderdale team that hasn't lost too much in recent times, but as you said, Brownie, were severely outclassed last week up against North Launceston to the tune of 96 points. They'll have a point to prove, and they'll be looking to book a maiden grand final. And to be honest, on the season they've had, I think they probably deserve a grand final, but they're going to be made to earn it today against a Launceston team that is supremely confident at the moment.
They're just a blue-collar, hard-working team, Launceston. Love the way they go about their footy. If one thing they would like to change, I think, today, Breno, would be their starts. The last two finals, they've only kicked one goal for the first quarter. But having said that, they've outscored their opposition in the two finals, 17 goals to 8 after half-time. So they will stick at it, even if they are behind a quarter time, and they'll back themselves just to work their way back into the contest. We know they don't rely on too many stars. They just get a very good, even contribution. But for Lauderdale, we know, as Damo mentioned, they would really see this as a wonderful opportunity to get to the very first TSL Grand Final. If Launceston could, it'd be the first time ever in the competition that someone's come from outside the top three to make it. So all ahead in what's going to be a big couple of hours, boys.
A couple of late outs just quickly. Liam Maher and Jordan Roberts out the side for Lauderdale. Coming in is Sam Adams and Campbell Hooker. Brent Costelloe to get us underway.
Underway in the prelim final 2017. Rain is bucketing down here at Blunston Arena as Hines picks up the footy. Intercepted though by Robbie McManus, who played his milestone game last weekend. His kick wasn't his best, and it's marked by Launceston inside the centre square. They play on quickly to the wing. Mark taken out there, no, it wasn't. Dropped. Wet conditions, as we said, so not ideal at all. Denellen gets the footy. An inside 50 for the first time this afternoon. Mark couldn't be taken. It's going to be hard to take marks, we know that. And now the Blues go forward again, right to the top of the square. No one could take the mark. It's still alive though. No, it's not. Over for a rush behind. So it's going to be a scrap fest, you think, boys, this afternoon?
There's a deep inside 50 there from Jay Blackerby, and Kelly Mansell with the fly. He's been in good form against Lauderdale in the last 2 times these teams have played, kicking 3 goals on each occasion.
It's a good start for the ruckman. Smith comes out and claims it. Hands it off for Josh McGuinness, who goes long down the wing. Numbers there for both sides. Handing out was the Blues. Dumped in a tackle was Brown. Comes to Van der Velde. He can't really move anywhere with it. He's smothered by a couple of Bombers. On the boot goes Franklin, just tumbling at Lauderdale's way. Ray Hill bustles in, gets past Savage, and then on the boot. And a whistle.
Good work in the wet, wasn't it?
I think he ran it over.
Yeah, I think it might have been Alex Heavey, was calling for the handball. So I'm surprised that he didn't give it, because it was only Alex Heavey forward of the play on that occasion, but it's going to be a boundary throw-in.
So back in it comes as rain tumbles down here at Blunston Arena. Smith with a hit out. He's down to the runners. It's Hill who's claimed in a tackle immediately. Leadham, who's been fantastic in recent weeks. He finds Hines. Hines down the wing. O'Donoghue manages to scrap something out. None can't gather. Coming through was Blackberry. Runs into a big tackle from Hooker. Late inclusion into this side. And it'll be a ball up.
Just a couple of the matchups too from a Launceston defensive point of view. Looks like Van der Velde going with Wiggins. At the moment, it could be Casey Brown on Boscott.
So swallowed away by Smith. Hines first to it. He can't gather. Boscott bustles through. Hands it off for McManus. Cool under pressure. Gets on the boot. He's kicked. Leaves a lot to be desired. Tyrrell claims it. Drops it off. They're racing away now through Brown. Almost for Stanley. Whiting paddles it into the path of Gillow. Looks to return the favour. Intercepted by Stanley. Finds Boscott. Navigates traffic. Goes back for Anderton. Running into trouble was McManus. And it's Joey Boyce who claims him in a big tackle.
Well, he had a great quarter last week, boys, when he bobbed up and kicked 2 goals for his team, Joe Boyce, and he can do that. He's hard in and under, and returning to Launceston, as we've mentioned a few times, has had some time away from that footy club, but he's a premiership player. He's experienced the way he goes about things, and there's a great defensive tackle there, an opportunity to get the first one on the board for his club today.
So Joe Boyce crosses the paint of 50. Kick it from about 35-40. Never looked like missing Joe Boyce. The perfect start for the Blues. They're on the board here at Blunston Arena.
Looks like they've got a bit of support behind them too, Breno. There's quite a good cheer there for Joe Boyce. And look, the coach would be delighted with that, Sam Lonigan. Pressure on the Lauderdale defence coming out of there, and it's a great run down and tackle, and more importantly, on conditions like this, it was a great finish.
We spoke about Launceston wanting a good start. They've chased their tails the last couple of weeks, but that's the perfect way to get underway in this preliminary final. Great story either way this afternoon. Launceston looking for their first grand final berth since 2011. Lauderdale looking for their first since they joined the TSL. The ball comes to us here on the wing in front of the broadcast position. Inside 50 again for Launceston. It's Whiting, gets the handball, centres the footy. Here's a chance for Launceston again. Is it 2 inside a minute? It's good! Launceston up and about the TSL Prelim Final. They move to 2-1-13. Lauderdale yet to score.
Well done to Connor Smith, because he was in the initial play, Damo, just in the wing in front of us, and then followed up his work and found some space inside 50, and goals at a premium in these conditions in the first quarter. But significantly, I think, too, for Launceston, a great start, Damo. We mentioned just before the start of the game, in the first 2 finals, they were a bit sluggish out of the blocks with only 1 goal in both those games at quarter time. They'd be delighted with this.
Rain not getting any lighter here at Blunston Arena. Winning out of the middle was Gillow. Drops it off for the big man, Leadham. Just gets it on the boot, looking for none. Running under it was Taylor. A handball is an errant one. Rundle bustles in. Gets it to his coach, Lonigan, who has a look towards the goal square, and Whiting takes a mark. Launceston are all over Lauderdale here.
Wasn't it a brilliant left foot kick from Sam Lonigan there, and knew it would have been a low percentage, obviously, to try and have a shot for goal, so just put in a dangerous position. Another one at Launceston. What a great start for them.
So Whiting on the board, and this is getting ugly early for the Bombers.
Certainly is. We didn't see this one coming, Brownie. They raced off to an electric start. We spoke about them needing one, but who'd have thought 3-1-19 to no score. Lauderdale haven't had an inside 50, have they?
No, I think they might have had one inside 50, but Launceston, it's their ball use, even though it's a wet day, but they've been pretty clean inside that forward 50. They look dangerous whenever they get their hands on the footy.
Well, back in the middle again. Looks nice and soft out there this afternoon as we see Smith and Leadham go up again in the ruck. And here's a chance for the Blues again. They can't control it. Hines does get it eventually. Dribbles forward. And now Rundle, is he taken high? Umpire let it go. And it's away now for the Bombers through Bryce Walsh. Mark couldn't be taken. And now Leadham gets the handball away. And the Blues have some time again. It's a high ball right to the paint of 50. Smith's there again. Couldn't take the mark. Still picked up now by Launceston. Big tackle from behind by the Bombers. It's still alive though. Lonigan wheels around on the right and just offline for a minor score. So that takes them to 3-2-20. Lauderdale yet to score.
Gee, that would have been handy.
So the kick out, Max Clevercamp, of course, missed their first final. Goes long beyond the arc. Williams comes and claims. He was superb last week, named best for the Blues in the win over Clarence. He was tremendous. Puts this one inside 50 to Boyce. He can't take the mark. It's out the back though. He'll have another look at it. Throws it on the boot.
Was that an early celebration, Damo? Looked like
I was about to say he liked it early, a little too early, offline. So Clevercamp again with the long sleeves today, and we'll have a chat about those because Lauderdale's long sleeves have to be one of the worst I've seen.
Long, probably with it, Damo.
Long goes Clevercamp, a pack forms over the back. It's Savage. He can't hold on to it as Sutton gets it on the boot, looking for Bell Chambers. Does well. Outmanoeuvres his opponent. Well. He's at the races now, Bell Chambers. Long looking for Hooker. Just takes it, hugging the boundary. No one to kick to, though, and that's a shocker straight into the man on the mark. Panicky there. Farming out a handball was Danellan. Williams tries to keep it moving down the wing. Hooker looks to mop up his poor work earlier on. Into the middle for Smith. Then Stanley. Scott Hill now. Looks long, inside 50. Their first promising move. Punched away from Aganis. Drops to the runners. Sutton for Adams. A laid in. A little nudgy ball. Not good at all. Powerfreeman has time to get a handball out. Goes to McManus to the opposition.
Throw.
And it was a throw. So the Blues can breathe a sigh of relief and take this one outside of defence.
She's improved.
He certainly has. He's been a wonderful player in this finals campaign so far. Aganis, no doubt about that. Here's the goal kicker, Smith, kicking it forward. Mark couldn't be taken. Does well to get out of the tackle though. And big tackle there from Lauderdale. It was the late in Adams. And they're not going too far with this footy. Umpire will blow the whistle and ball it up.
Just a couple of fumbles there from young Taylor and Gill. Look, for mine, Lauderdale need to get Dylan Fife onto the ground pretty smartly. Damo's just been caught out with the rotation, but they just need his cleanliness around the contest at the moment.
So the rain's eased here for the moment. No doubt we'll see a bit more as the afternoon goes on. Leadham wins on that occasion. Jay Blackberry tried to get the handball away, but it only goes as far as Smith. Franklin over to McGuinness. Can't pick up the footy. Launceston dive onto the football, and it looks like we'll have another ball up or holding the ball. So free kick going the way of the Bombers, and gee, they need a goal just to get himself back in this match and ease the pressure slightly. Josh McGuinness will take the kick. What a great inclusion he's been this year for the Bombers. It's a beautiful kick to Wiggins. Goes out, takes the mark on the chest, and will go back and kick from 40 metres out, slight angle.
Yeah, well done to Josh McGuinness here, and a good lead from Ryan Wiggins, wasn't it? Straight up the middle of the ground. Do you see the importance of Nathan O'Donoghue more from Launceston perspective in that from Lauderdale, they do have to man someone up on him because of his height. So Ben McGuinness, who we love seeing forward, has that versatility to go back. At the moment, he's picking up O'Donoghue, which is a bit of a win for Launceston, I would have thought. Kicked
7 goals here in his last outing on Blunston Arena. And so far this afternoon, he remains on none. That's off to the right for a minor score. Speaking of wonderful players, Williams here to do the kicking in for Launceston. He was outstanding last weekend. I thought he was best
on last week.
Yeah, brilliant. Tyrrell takes it in the back pocket. And someone calling out in the forward. It's been paid. So here we go. The shot on goal will come from Campbell Hooker, who was a late inclusion this afternoon, and wouldn't this be an ideal start for him? to kick his team's first goal.
Dad Reid played a lot of old scholars footy with University and St Virgil's, and he's kicked a lot of goals at Mercury Cup level.
Campbell hooker, does he thread the needle? He doesn't. It's away to the left.
Last 5 minutes has been a little bit better from Lauderdale. The defensive pressure around the contest has certainly improved for them. They've got a pretty strong zone at the moment on this kick out.
So it's Williams again. Not much on offer for him. So he goes long. He comes right up towards the centre square. Big punch from behind from Leadham. Goes high in the air. Here's Hooker again. Gets it away to Fife. Fife goes inside. The Boscott couldn't take the mark. Well done, Williams. But Fife gets the footy back. It's a high ball. It's a bending ball. It's coming back. It's good. No way. No way, Dylan Fife. You little star. Lauderdale's first and just eases the pressure a little bit. But Dylan Fife, wowee.
Well, we called for him to come onto the ground. I just thought they needed some of his smarts around the contest. And he won the footy just outside the forward 50 and tried to hit Boscott, who didn't quite get the hands out far enough to take that mark, and he followed up and kicked an unbelievable goal, really. It looked like it might just fall a little short, but just carried. Just what the doctor ordered for Lauderdale. Brilliant goal from the little man.
That was outrageous from Dylan Fife, and what a call from Cam Brown to get him on the field.
Yes.
Get him wide into Lauderdale's coaching box, I reckon.
Look how tiny he is. He's just a star for that size player.
Team of the week during the week as well, as going up in the ruck duel was Alex Hill with Leadham. Of course, Tute Havea suspended. Holding the ball, so it'll go the Blues' way. Underneath all that was Bryce Walsh.
Well, he's got a Sam Rundle, is it? Bumped into his... Oh, no, is it?
Sam Rundle. It is.
Good story, Brownie.
As Brownie takes us on an interesting tangent, coming out of defence with Scott Hill, and he throws it.
Oh, dear.
Bumped into Sam Rundle's girlfriend and her family have made the trip down with a lot of Launceston people today to see this game.
And they're vocal and up and about, and why not?
Is that none down here, boys?
The footy they're playing. Just have a look. Shepherd keen to get it moving, looking for O'Donoghue. In front of him was Stanley. Play goes on as Ben McGuinness hands out to Ray Hill. Finds Bryce Walsh in the centre square. He finds Bell Chambers, Fife, the most recent goal kicker. Pinpoint for Heavey, who goes along, looking for Boscott. He tried to muscle Savage out of the way. Follows up his own work, tries to paddle it into the path of Bell Chambers. Soccering is Fife. A smart little soccer, but that is brilliant from Aganis just to clear the danger. Hill collects for Lauderdale, but he's going nowhere fast. They get the ball out. Now, it's a good tackle from Anderton that halts momentum. And yes, you're right, Brent Costelloe, none.
Doesn't look good.
Making his way to the bench and looks in a spot of bother. Just the way he's holding his arm there, never a good sign. So Leadham wins the hit out. Ruller Kelly Mansell had a quiet couple of finals. He'll be looking to redeem that. Here he goes on a burst. Out onto the wing. He taps it to himself, taps it again, and runs out of tarmac.
It's electric, isn't he, Ruller Kelly Mansell? Just lights up the ground whenever he's near the footy, I reckon.
I thought his last 20 minutes against Clarence was really encouraging. I thought he was fairly quiet last week, but they ran into some nice form in that last quarter.
So up it goes again. Leadham and Alex Hill duelling. Going nowhere fast, so Pack's destined to form again. No, farming out was Adams underneath all that, I think it was. And yet again, they tumble on top. It's Tyrrell. And the numbers make their way out, and we'll have another ball up.
It's been a pretty good response, in fairness to Lauderdale, since that onslaught in the first 5 or 6 minutes from Launceston, starting to get it back on their terms a little bit.
Hill does well up against Leadham, wins his own ball and pumps it down the wing. Vandervelde first to it, gets it back, and then farms it out for Williams. On the boot, pressured as he kicked it. Bouncing along the wing, Wish Wilson in a foot race. First there, he's got an option short in Williams. He'll use him. Williams hurriedly throws it on the boot. Aganis sets himself to impact the contest and does. Out it goes. So an electric start from Launceston, and Lauderdale have responded. Launceston still with a healthy lead here. So the ball comes back in again. Smith back on for Lauderdale, and that's a good hit out to Franklin. Franklin, a superb kick inside 50. Bell Chambers had a paddock, He takes the ball, he turns around and sends a flying shot wide.
I just like to see him go back and kick that goal. He does
that.
play on instinct, doesn't he, Bell Chambers? He's a burst player and can really impact inside and outside the contest, and found some space there. I just thought if he's had his time over again, a little bit more composure and go back and kick the set shot.
Big booming kick in by Williams again, lead him from behind. Punched. And now Lauderdale a chance again. Here's my man Fife on the left. Pops it into the pocket. Boscott, was he out? He was. So we'll have a boundary throw in. Would have been a nice little setup there.
Gee, they look dangerous when Dylan Fife's got the football on his hands. Something always seems to happen.
And it comes again. Dangerous territory here for Launceston, right in front of Lauderdale's goal. Ball wrapped up. It's one out though by Savage. Threw it onto the boot. O'Donoghue's there. McGuinness punched it forward. And now Josh, his brother, gets the footy. Handball is a little wayward. And now Bell Chambers is run down. Umpire said play on, but Launceston get the footy away. Here's Lonigan. Pops it up. Whiting. He's got a paddock in front of him and not too many opponents. He loads up just beyond 50. It's going to bounce. It's going to bounce to the right and miss the lot and out of bounds. Boundary throw in.
Well, that's probably a good result for Launceston.
Didn't have anywhere to go, did he?
Back for the kick out potentially, but now they get an opportunity from the stoppage. They are dangerous in these situations. Launceston have been over the last couple of weeks.
So 17 minutes gone in this first term, and it's Launceston leading by 2 goals. Rain's tumbling down here again at Blunston Arena. O'Donoghue out of the pack. Can Launceston do something here? They can through Boyce. He just did everything there and went in and kicked another, and Launceston kick away once more.
Wowee, Joey Boyce. He just read that better than anyone else and just showed brute strength to just bustle inside the square and put it through. He's a real goal threat, Boyce.
Just shrugged off Ed Stanley on that occasion, who couldn't make the tackle stick, and just what they wanted. Launceston after the last 5 or 10 minutes just felt Lauderdale was starting to work their way back into the game. But a handy break, 3-goal lead at this particular point in time, coming up to the 18-minute mark of the first quarter.
The rain coming down, and it's raining goals for the Blues at this point. Smith went up and won the ruck contest on his own. O'Donoghue gathers though and is met with a Fife tackle. No free kick though coming for the Bombers. Another ball up.
Shame that happened because Lauderdale really had the ascendancy there, Brownie, for what?
Smith hands it off to Shepherd, a flying kick inside 50. Clevercamp has his name on it. Comes out, takes it on his chest. That's a worrying kick. Straight to Whiting. Lucky for Clevercamp, he loses his footing, but Smith gets it, throws it on the left. It's going towards goal. It hasn't! That's outrageous! Smith, a kick from nothing, just threw it on the boot, and he threaded the needle.
Well, turnovers will kill you in modern day footy, and unfortunately for Clevercamp there, an errant kick. One stage it looked like Sonny Whiting had some time and space to maybe snap one across the body, but the ball spilled out to Connor Smith, and at the moment he's really hurting Lauderdale with his efficiency by foot. That's his 2nd goal, and they're just giving him too much latitude at this particular point in time as Ben McGuinness makes his way to him.
4 goals the margin here. Worrying signs for Lauderdale as Bell Chambers comes out the middle, and now McManus, clever little kick around the corner, and mark couldn't be taken. Just almost at time on, and the ball centred again for the Bombers. Bell Chambers takes the mark. He gets the handball away to Franklin, and now here's Smith. He gets it inside 50, but it's a terrible kick, and it's gone straight down the guts of Brown.
Just a quick one, Breno. Joey Boyce met with a bump from Bell Chambers, looking pretty wobbly out there.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that as Hines takes the mark for Launceston. He goes with the short kick. So they just need to slow this momentum down at the moment, the Bombers. It's all Launceston here at the minute. Smith, who's been dangerous in this first term, couldn't control the footy. He takes his opponent Sutton high. And I think it's going to be a boundary throw-in, but very lucky there. So we've hit time on now. And 4 goals is the margin in the prelim final. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Here is Hines. Gets the footy out. Nunn's there. So is Bell Chambers. And now Paul Freeman tried to get the kick away. Didn't happen for him. Tyrrell, Williams, clever little tap behind. Gets the footy back. He does well, Williams, but he's ended up in a big tackle and holding the ball. So it all caught up with him in the end. Umpire's just telling Lauderdale to calm down. It's Adams who'll take the kick.
Listen to that rain.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit louder because we're under a tin roof here or whatever it is, but it's definitely coming down, that's for sure. Here's Savage, gets the boot to ball. That's only as far as Nat Franklin takes the mark. He pumps it long inside 50. What's doing for him? Boscott's there, but it's all Launceston from behind. Kick back outside 50. Now Williams does well, takes the mark on his chest.
He gets better every time you see him, this fella.
He's had a great season. He goes up to none. Couldn't take the mark. He's hurt himself too. Might have got him where it hurts.
Yeah, you've got to be careful here.
Oh,
I reckon he's going to be reported. I reckon he's in the book.
Silly stuff. Umpire.
Yeah, it is.
Gets
I reckon
yeah.
he is in the book.
He is too. So the report's been made against Scott Hill. Brody Polferman giving the umpire a round of applause.
It looked like one of those roundhouse spoils, which ends up being a fist to the midriff. So it looks like he's that poor old Jakey.
Yeah, he's got it again.
He's a bad run.
Not having a great afternoon.
But,
So
some frustration there. There's a yellow card as well, don't
okay, well there you go. So Polferman will take the kick. We saw him make the team of the year during the week. What a season he's had. Been part of this Launceston resurgence, of course. Nothing happening for him at the moment. So he will go long inside 50. Kelly Mansell from behind couldn't take the mark. McGuinness, and now Walsh bangs it onto the boot. Up to the wing. Hines is there, couldn't take the mark, but he's going to be paid for a push. No, it's going against him. So Adams will take the kick, who's had a bit of the footy this term.
In the thick of it, hasn't he?
He has, indeed. He goes on his left now. And it goes over the head of Vanderveld, and now Savage, who's been wonderful this final series as well. Brother Brennan, of course, Cam, who was a star player with Launceston and Clarence over the journey, and the Tasmanian Devils.
A very honest player. Disappointed at the moment. He's picking up for Boscott when the ball comes inside 50 for Lauderdale.
So here we go again. Smith, Boscott wrapped up. Was he taken high? Holding the ball. So there you go.
See, Lauderdale's tackling has been terrific, Damo.
Launceston.
Launceston. And this guy has just emerged, hasn't he, throughout the final series, young Tyrrell.
He's been tremendous. He pumps this one out onto the broadcast wing. O'Donoghue arrives late, but it's Adams who comes out with it. A punch from Tyrrell. Walsh can't gather, bustling in as Bell Chambers tries to get it to his skipper. He's being ridden by the big man Leadham. There's fight for the footy at the moment. Savage emerges with it, pumps it long. This will ask a bit of someone. McGuinness of the Ben variety gets there first, but Launceston take it out. Gillo receives it from his coach, pumping long to Kelly Mansell. He can't take the mark. He looks to spin. He's under all sorts of trouble here. Arriving is Shepherd, but the numbers should win out here for Lauderdale. Interesting kick from Josh McGuinness.
Oh, no.
And an interesting effort at marking coming from Williams. Sees it out of bounds.
Gee, it was a great kick, wasn't it? Inside 50. Was it Gillo that kicked it?
It was indeed.
It certainly gave Kelly Mansell every opportunity.
Another one of these young Blues that have really thrived come September. They'll try and bustle it out here. It'll be a free kick to Mitch Anderton.
Yeah, still at school, some of these boys at St Pat's College.
Top one high. A lot of 18, 19-year-old types in this team. If they all stay together, it'll be a scary proposition for the rest of the competition as it's pumped long. Vanderveld got a hand on it. Shepherd mops up, but has his ball blocked. Vanderveld again off for Leadham. He drops it off for Hines, who drops it out of play.
Bit going on here too, boys. Bryce Walsh in the thick of it, as we'd expect, and umpires actually paid a free kick here to Bryce. Caught one in the face, I think. So there you go. Lauderdale will be able to reset here and have another crack at a goal before quarter time. They are trailing by 4 of them at the moment, so they'd love one.
4 goals on a day like this, priceless. Coming out the back, going for the hanger was Ray Hill. He couldn't as it bounces out of play. And Lauderdale inch down the wing. They've got a real job to do now. Not the first quarter they would have liked. Haven't seen that response from the North Launceston game just yet, fellas. As the ball's back in again, Smith uses his foot this time. Chambers picks it up, puts it into the space. No red and black there, just Vanderveld. He can't track it down.
Interesting comments during the week, Brownie, from Darren Winter, saying that he's rated this group of Launcestons for, well, certainly last year and this year, had him top 2 or 3 in the competition. So a lot of respect for this Lonnie group. Aaron Cornelius very vocal of his support too during the season.
So back in again, Williams will take it.
Well, maybe the footy world's been a little bit slow to catch up with this Launceston footy team. 3rd week in a row they've come to Blunston Arena, and this ground holds no fears. What a great start for them.
Seesawing season though, to be fair, haven't they? They've been up and down a little bit. Sam Lonigan's talked about disrespect and all this sort of stuff. You can only judge on what you see though, I suppose, Brownie, can't you?
They're definitely playing their best footy at the right end of the season.
They are.
Disappointing kick day there from Blackberry, I think.
It was Shepherd, I think, and it was McGuinness who takes the mark. Back out onto the wing. They move through hands off Ray Hill. Fife pumps it long. Look, probably their most likely. Comes out of the back to Boscott. His first real look at things. Unselfish into the square. Alex Hill on the board. Lauderdale, in the dying embers of this first term, get a valuable goal.
He wants a free kick here, I think, Hill. So he was pushed in the back as he scored the goal, but won't be happening.
I thought he might have been a little bit lucky on that occasion for Boscott. He's been playing from behind and wanting, I guess, to use his natural athleticism and to give himself the best opportunity to come from behind and take a mark. But the ball spilled out the back fortuitously for him. And Smart didn't panic with the footy, and a nice long handball to Alex Hill who kicked the goal. Boscott's gone in the middle. I like this move for Lauderdale.
Well, they'd love another one before quarter time. Time might beat them as we get underway in the middle of the game. Margin now is 3 straight goals, so impressive start here from Launceston. Smith having a bit to say to Hines in the middle here. Bit going on. Boy gets it back underway very quickly though. To avoid that, here they go, Lauderdale. Here's Hill again, the last goal kicker of the game. Boscott's in there as well. But now through Rundle, Blackberry, Palfreyman, the 3 big names combined. Franklin though, he gets it inside 50. It's a high ball. And Chambers was there, but a good mark taken by Tyrrell.
Wow, I've sung his praises a bit throughout this finals campaign, but he's had a terrific 3 weeks, this boy.
He gets it long now, and Smith tried to get the footy. Didn't happen for him. Now taken high was Blackberry. Umpire said play on. Walsh turns around. He drills it forward.
It's just really unnecessary there from Launceston. You'd be filthy if you're Sam Lonigan. That kick was going to be repelled, I would have thought, that inside 50. Now, all of a sudden, this may well be one of the last kicks of the quarter, and potentially Lauderdale can go in 2 goals down at quarter time.
Unthinkable.
It's a bit of heat in this game now, boys. A bit happening. A few spot fires all over the ground.
Just got to keep your poise, don't you? And
you would be filthy. This will make it 2 straight kicks when it was out to 4 goals. So a massive kick coming up here for the Bombers. Let's see what happens. The connection isn't good, and it's off well to the right, out in the full. So a little let off there for Launceston. The margin going in to quarter time is 17 points in the prelim final of 2017.
So Launceston out of the blocks here. Really started with intent. Lauderdale have fought back, but Launceston still holds sway here. Goal kickers, Brownie, you got them for us?
Yeah, Joe Boyce with 2 in the first quarter. 2 also to Connor Smith, who was terrific and damaging with his left foot, and 1 goal to Sonny Whiting. And for Lauderdale, just the 2 single goal kickers. Dylan Fife, what a beauty that was, left footer from the boundary. And also 1 to Alex Hill late in that first quarter. But as different players obviously go now to their respective line coaches, terrific start from the Launceston Footy Club. They came out of the blocks early. They won the contested footy. They looked dangerous inside the forward 50 where they had different players bobbing up for goals. Terrific start from Joe Boyce to get that inside, that first goal, which was a great defensive tackle inside the forward 50, and it just set the tone, I thought, for Launceston, and they certainly got their confidence up. They probably kicked 3 goals in the first 5 or 6 minutes and really blew Lauderdale out of the water. I thought the next 10 or so minutes, Lauderdale slowly worked their way back into the game until that late goal from Joe Boyce, and an important one for Alex Hill there. Geez, that would have been a nice goal for Lauderdale to finish there for Ray Hill. But on balance, Launceston would be really happy with this start, a 3-goal lead. We mentioned that they've been slow out of the blocks. Lauderdale a little bit, maybe lacking a little bit of confidence after last week, and maybe a little bit nervous about the way they went about it. So Launceston certainly exploited that to their advantage in this first 30 minutes, boys.
How valuable do you think a 3-goal lead like this is, considering the wet deck and the combative play that we expect for the rest of the day?
I'd say it would have been really valuable, but it doesn't seem to matter at the moment. There's still been plenty of goals kicked in that first term, Brownie.
It has, and somewhat surprised me because there was some pretty heavy rain in that first 25 minutes in particular, and to get 7 goals was a little bit surprising. I thought it might have been a low-scoring game, and some players are still a bit down for both their respective teams, so plenty of upside. We know that certainly Lauderdale do have that flexibility to throw their team around a little bit. Boscott spent the majority of the game forward. I'd like to see him roll through the midfield a little bit more. Maybe Bill Chambers is another one that can go there. Bryce Walsh can also push forward and kick a goal. Haven't seen a lot of Alex Hill yet, despite that goal that he kicked late in the first quarter. We know when these two teams last played, he kicked 5 goals and really got hold of them. So it's interesting. I mentioned Nathan O'Donoghue, just how valuable he is for Launceston, because he can, goes into the ruck, gives Leadham a bit of a chop out, but when he is deep forward, you have to man someone up on him because of his height. And 2 goals last week, he's named among the best players. I thought he's really good, and someone who is a real wild card for Lauderdale normally, and Ben McGuinness is forced to play back on him. So I think they'd love at some particular point in time, if they can do it, match-up wise, to throw McGuinness forward, that of the Ben variety later on in this game, boys.
Alex Hill, last time these two teams played, kicked 5 goals, was a real damaging threat. They threw him forward at the back end of that quarter. He kicked a goal and he looked like impacting another contest, almost took a clunk. I think that might be something they persist with a little bit, and as you said, Boscott's someone they need to get in the game more. But Lauderdale certainly not playing that Lauderdale brand we came to expect in the back end of the season.
No, they love that slingshot footy style where they can particularly get the ball inside and then feed it out to the outside runners, and they haven't really had many opportunities to do that in the first quarter. But from a Launceston perspective, I guess that first quarter is emblematic of the way they've gone about it the last couple of games. They're just so structured, so disciplined in that back half, and sometimes they're a little bit underrated for mine. Not necessarily a lot of household names, but gee, they do a job. I thought Terrell was really important in that first quarter again. Love the way he goes about his footy. Savage does a job each and every week. Vanderveld, Williams continued on the way he played last week, so they'd be pretty happy the way things are set up behind the footy, and they're probably winning the clearance battle at the moment, albeit Lauderdale certainly in the last 15 minutes started to get some of that contested footy back into their game.
So Launceston, with a very handy 3-goal lead here, will have just the briefest of breaks and be back for the second term in this. Stay with us. So back for the second term here at Blunston Arena. Launceston with a very handy lead at the first break. A long huddle for Lauderdale. Darren Winter with some pointed words, you'd suggest. Because the Bombers have a real job to do, boys.
They do, and wouldn't Launceston be delighted with their half forwards? I speak of Joe Boyce and Connor Smith. 4 goals between them in that first quarter, and certainly they got too much latitude, particularly Smith, because he can be damaging with his left foot. And we know he's a really capable player. He played bottom-age Mariners footy last season, and certainly is giving them some trouble at the moment. Sam Lonigan has often been the way in this final series, is happy to go forward. He'll trust people like Hines, who's spending more time in the middle of the ground in this game. Blackberry, Rundle, some big names in there for Launceston. He'll back his team in there and certainly can cause some damage himself going forward. But just looking at it from a Lauderdale perspective, as I mentioned before at the quarter-time huddle, Bryce Walsh has actually gone forward. I like that move. Can kick a goal, being picked up at the moment by Savage. But they need to get their hands. They need to try and get Franklin, Boscott, these sort of players into the game. Get some energy into their team at the moment. Bill Chambers is another one that can really spark them in this second quarter.
Good to see Joe Boyce back out there as well. Had a head knock towards the end of the game, but end of the quarter rather, but he's back out there. In the middle they go. Smith wins it down straight for Boscott. He'll burst away. Boscott kicking out, looking for Wiggins. Can't take the grab. It falls for Bryce Walsh. On the boot, it's curling the wrong way. Just through for a minor score.
Oh, would have been a good start for him.
It would have. They would have been delighted with that clearance and the way they got the ball into their forward 50. Very fast. They look dangerous. So a good start for them.
So Williams, just a little kick into the pocket to find Denellen. Like so many of these Launceston players, had a good final series. Pumps it long, looking for big Leadham. He'll be beaten to it as he's punched down by McManus. Blackberry can't gather. Leadham comes in, gets the ball but loses it. Handing off was Hill, finds Walsh, then Heavey on the boot. A shallow kick, punched down by Wiggins. Bill Chambers looks to get in. He's shepherded off it. Hines now, punched away by Wiggins. Interesting choice into the square. They should get out of trouble here, the Blues. Good work in traffic by Savage. A long kick. But it's short of O'Donoghue. Boscott doesn't take the grab. Ben McGuinness and now Smith. It was a high little twirler. I don't know whether that's exactly what he intended, but it lands in the arms of Bill Chambers.
Well, he was one of the players we mentioned at the start of this quarter that can spark. He's a burst player. In fairness to him as well, he's better than someone that can just give you 5 minutes. He's been a very consistent performer for his footy club this year, but he's one of those rare types. He's a difficult matchup. He's powerful, athletic, and it'll be the perfect start for his team if he can kick this goal.
So Bill Chambers comes on in. Distance should be no trouble at all. It's all about the accuracy, and he's got that. So Lauderdale on the board. They cut the deficit.
You talk to Darren Winter. He's a huge rap for this man. We know him through the underage system and played some footy at Tassie under 18 level. But great start for Lauderdale.
Exactly what they wanted, that's for sure. Cuts the margin back to 11 points. So important goal from Bill Chambers.
Just one or two about Kelly Mansell there. They seem to content for him to play up on the wing. I just think he's more damaging at times when he can push forward. He's a difficult matchup. He's explosive off the lead.
So right back in the middle of the game, Boscott got collected heavily, but the umpire said play on. Fife disposed of his opponent, Jay Blackberry, and he'll get the free kick now. So he's been fantastic too, Jay Blackberry, in this finals campaign for the Blues. He goes sideways to Savage. Savage got plenty of time, and he goes forward. And good mark taken by Whiting, who's a long way from home. He's quick to play on. He goes inside 50. O'Donoghue's there. Can he take a mark? He does. Gobbles it right up. Big nod O'Donoghue. And he'll go back now and kick from about 35 metres out.
It was a great kick from Whiting, wasn't it? And in the end, he just stood there and parted the seas almost. And that's where he's really dangerous. I just wonder about, potentially, I know it's early on in the game, whether Alex Hill is the man to go back in on O'Donoghue, and then you could potentially throw McGuinness forward.
Heaps going on behind play. as O'Donoghue comes in and gets the quick reply for the Blues. The margin back out to 17.
Full kudos to this travelling support of Launceston, really making some noise.
They are, and they're more vocal at the moment than the Lauderdale supporters, who you would think, home ground would certainly hear more from them, but they've certainly got behind their team in this final series, and we've mentioned how comfortable they are with the ground. They're just growing in confidence before our very eyes over this last 3-week period. Plenty of time left in this one, though, for Lauderdale to get back into it, but a great mark, and that's what he's in the team for.
So Smith wins the hit out, down looking for Fife. First to it was Blackberry, sliding in Boscott. Fife emerges with it, finds Franklin, a little kick off the left looking for Bill Chambers, punched away. Good effort there by Brown, seeing it over.
More spite in this game than the Clarence Lauderdale game a couple of weeks ago, boys.
There's plenty on the line, that's why, Brent.
That's exactly right, Damian.
Big dance next week. Comes in, lead him down. Blackberry throws it on the boot, goes nowhere. Hines just handballs over his head, hoping someone would claim it. And luckily, or unluckily in the end, I thought he may have got a free kick there, Hines, but he's actually given one away. So Boscott.
He's too far out, I would have thought, but he's
edge of 50.
Going to back himself. So he's a long kick.
Be probably 55-ish when he goes to kick it. We've heard Cam Brown and yourself, Brent Costelloe, discount another Lauderdale player from similar range. He goes out to the right to get a bit more distance, nowhere near enough. Punching through was Hill, falls for Bill Chambers, has his ball blocked. Scurrying out was Taylor. Launceston looked to escape. Anderton first through it, ahead of Whiting. Coming through was Boyce, just make something of it. And they earn a free kick. It's Rundle, who was collected in the head by Franklin.
Smart play, this boy.
So Launceston just answer the call there, just find a way out of defence when it looked unlikely. Coming down the wing looking for Whiting. No. McGuinness was spoiled by his own teammate, rather it was Anderton, thrown into the middle. And it's all Launceston, and Jake Hines takes the ball on a burst. He's run himself into trouble. Smith. And then Boscott punches on for Franklin. Heavey edging towards 50. He's got Alex Hill.
Well done.
Alex Hill takes the mark and he'll line up for Lauderdale.
Well done, Alex Heavey. Went the longer option and it paid off in droves.
Just watching there, Thor Boscott has given Jake Hines a bit of a gobful there. And that's probably Jake's issue if it's going to be something that hampers him going to the next level, is probably that leg speed. And he got caught out on that occasion. Unfortunately,
just a bit more off than he could chew, I think. As Alex Hill skips on in, he kicked a bag against him last time, and he's on his way to another. He's second for the day. Lauderdale get their second in this second term.
This is a brilliant game. There's lots going on. Really enjoying it, Cam. And Sonny Whiting right in the face of Thor Boscott too on the boundary then after that bit of to-do between Boscott and Hines, as you said.
Still going on, boys.
Yeah,
it is. Still going on there.
Yeah, it is. So there you go. And a bit more happening down at Lauderdale's attacking into the ground too. So as we said earlier, spot fires all over the place. It's really entertaining as we go again and reset in the middle. Bell Chambers is there. Franklin, Blackberry, Launceston have it. And now Paul Freeman goes to the wing, hits up Smith. Rain starts to tumble down heavily again here at Bell Reef. It's been on and off all afternoon. And now some time and space for the Blues. Kelly Mansell couldn't get the footy. And now Lauderdale collect in defence. McManus on the lead, takes a nice mark. Was a great kick. McManus stops to go backwards. Like I said, play on. They do just that, the Bombers. And Smith's there again, intercepts the footy and pushes it out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. Heavy rain again now. Hasn't deterred a reasonable crowd turning out for this one this afternoon. As you said, Damo, a lot of support down the Midland Highway for the Launceston Blues. I know that highway pretty well now after coming down 3 weeks in a row to play at this venue. As it comes back in, Smith and Leadham. Leadham taps it forward, and now the Bombers are away. Kicked inside the centre square. Walsh, but Savage from behind, punches away. Sutton's there. Van der Velde. Sutton again though. He pushes it forward. Hill running onto it. Agarnis gets it nicely in the wet for Launceston. Tyrrell Moves it forward.
Great kick.
Mark taken by Paul Freeman. You love him, Brownie. He's your man, that's for sure. Tyrrell. Savage gets the ball inside the centre square. Plays on quickly, had to. Ball dribbling forward. Josh McGuinness was there to collect, but intercepted by Sammy Lonigan, who had to kick it quickly. And now Smith tucks the footy under the arm. Gets away just in time. And Bellchambers taken high. He wasn't. He's called for a throw here. So
big 5 minutes, I reckon, in this game coming up, boys.
Good call, Brownie. Time a premium with the ball at the moment.
Lonigan moves it forward. Paul Freeman couldn't take the mark. He's taken a tackle there, but didn't do anything in the end. Here's Leadham. Does a little dance. Handball over the top to Rundle. Rundle's right on 50. Gets the handball over the top. And now Launceston are away here. Boyce pushed forward, though, by Paul Freeman. And now Lauderdale are okay and out of danger. The kick comes forward.
Terrific.
Beautiful mark taken by Williams.
Great play, Clevercamp. Great poise under pressure.
Williams goes up to the wing. On the charge is Wiggins. Does well. Pushes the ball down and gets it his own footy back in the end. Walsh now. Franklin. A couple of big stars of Lauderdale combined there. Agarnis, though. And Smith back to Blackberry for Launceston. And now Boyce. He's been wonderful this finals campaign, and he set his team up for a goal here. It goes inside 50. Oh, Lauderdale. But the clever Kelly Mansell comes through, but this time it's off to the left. Minor score.
Came up third man then, Ben McGuinness, unfortunately for him. The Launceston player and Kelly Mansell weighted down and had some time and space with the crumb. That would have been a body blow for Lauderdale. Their energy is definitely up in the last 5 minutes here.
Coming out of defence is McGuinness. A huge pack forms out the back. It's all the Blues. Denellen finds Shepherd, who'll use the sanctuary of the boundary and cop a bit of extra treatment from McManus on the way through, and spot fires galore again. The emergency ump getting a workover.
They're good in this situation, the emergency umps, aren't they? They come out and just sort everything out and back they go.
Earning their money. They wouldn't be happy about it as it comes in. O'Donoghue, fists down. Blackberry first to meet it. Looks to hand out. It's Gillow, can't gather. Sockering was McManus into the centre square. Williams tries to gather, a bit uncertain. Taylor for the Blues. Sutton hands it out. O'Donoghue interesting with a punch, but it worked nicely. A bouncing ball looking for Connor Smith. Anderton first to it. Connor Smith gets it now. Comes to Hines off that lovely left, and he hits a target in Nunn. So Nunn, 40 foot, probably 45 metres out, I'd say.
So you had Kelly Mansell on a great lead.
He's ignored that, so you'll have to go back, and you think he just pumps this one to the square.
Right behind it, Damo, talk us through it.
So Nunn crosses the paint, goes out wide to the right to give it the journey. Has he snuck it home? No, wrong side of the left upright, through for a minor score. So Lauderdale just weathering a storm here, both in the conditions and Launceston's forward forays. Out of defence goes Stanley, long beyond the arc. Coming in was Brown. Fist down for his coach, who takes the ball, gives it to Vanderveld, who loses it, but it'll be brought back for Sam Lonigan. It was held too long by Alex Hill. Lonigan, a lovely kick into the middle. Coming out was Gillow. He looked confident. He couldn't take the grab.
The slingshot.
Bryce Walsh now. The slingshot's away, and it's all Thor Boscott. Thor Boscott against Agarnis. Agarnis has tracked him down nicely here. Boscott has to paddle, goes back for Evie, spins, turns, gets it on the boot. The kick was a helicopter, and through it goes for a minor score.
You can do that, Alex Evie. You've seen him kick some great goals over the journey. Opportunity there for Boscott, just needed to be clean, didn't he? It was a dangerous inside 50, almost a chaos ball thrown forward.
Williams made Tyrrell work for it, but he does well and gets it out of defence for Launceston, but a good mark.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah, hooker. Late inclusion this afternoon, as we mentioned earlier.
It's Wish Wilson, mate.
It is Wish Wilson, sorry about that. As Launceston turn the footy over, O'Donoghue takes the mark. Star for Launceston. Best on ground in the grand final, back in their premiership year. Whiting couldn't take the mark. And now Lauderdale are away. Hill gets boot to ball just. Smith does well as well, but unfortunately hits the boundary and out of bounds for a boundary throw in. So 2 straight kicks the margin still. Almost 14 minutes gone in the second quarter. Do or die prelim final. In it comes again. A big tap down by Smith. And now the Blues collect the footy. Paul Freeman, team of the year, we know that. Star of the competition, hugs the boundary. Smith couldn't get it, and Stanley punches over for Lauderdale. So we're into each other here again now. So lots going on, as we said earlier.
That's ridiculous.
Dear. Smith gives away the free kick, so Fife will take it. We said it, Brownie, ridiculous in that situation. Shouldn't happen.
Why do it? You've got to put your ego in your back pocket at this particular point in time. We mentioned it's a big 5 or 6 minutes coming up.
So it's, oh, gee whiz, Leadham flew. Couldn't hold on to it. Could have been mark of the century. Unfortunately for the Blues, it's been pinged for holding the ball here.
Well, fair enough.
There you go, Hines at the bottom of the pack. So big Hayden Smith has the footy for the Dale. What can he do? He opts to go long, wanted to go to Bryce Walsh, but went long in the end. And now here's the dangerous Boscott, hugging the boundary, gets the kick away. Josh McGuinness takes the mark, and he'll go back now and have a shot that he shouldn't miss.
I'm not sure whether he's having
gee, look at this.
Plenty happening off the ball at the moment between Leadham and Smith. Jake Hines is in there as well. Well done to Thor Boscott. I don't know whether he's actually trying a banana, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Fortuitously kicked it across a dangerous spot, and McGuinness ran onto it.
All of these spot flies involving Hines. I'm not saying he's the instigator, but it seems to be all about him.
Well, they're targeting.
Josh McGuinness comes in, the former Brisbane Lion, splits the middle, he's happy about it. Lauderdale back in town. We're back to a 1-goal ball game.
Would have thought he'd be one of their more consistent players over the last 10 weeks. Josh McGuinness, and just ran in at the right time, knew when to push forward. Probably the closest Lauderdale have been since the first minute or so of this contest, just a goal in it now. And they've certainly got the game back on their terms. I've loved their way defensively, they've worked their way back in with some defensive pressure. And like the way they've gone about in the first 15 minutes of this quarter.
It's game on here at Blunston Arena. Lead him up. Hit out, down onto someone's head, and he gets it back. A tumbling ball inside 50. Well done by Lonigan, but it comes to Kelly Mansell. He'll look to weave his way out of there. He hands back to Rundle.
Clever, Rundle.
Kelly Mansell's run 30 metres the wrong direction. He gets the ball back. A little ball for Gillow. It's cut off. And they'll manage to get it out here. Bombers almost through Sutton. Fife comes in. Tries to get it out, but he's claimed in a Gillow tackle going nowhere.
Geez, he's explosive, Kelly Mansell, isn't he?
He is. He gets you excited, as I said earlier, Brent. Just every time he gets the footy, he lights up, doesn't he?
McGuinness is no slouch pace-wise either, Ben.
Smith down for Boscott. The hands out. Just misses the target of Franklin. On hands and knees was Taylor. Misses his target. They'll get it out of defence now through kick. Scott Hill. It is a good kick. He finds his namesake in Ray Hill on the wing, looking for Cam Hooker. He just runs under it, and the bouncing ball crosses the boundary line out of play.
You certainly wouldn't think it's a wet weather game this afternoon, would you? It's been exciting. There's been plenty of goals kicked. It hasn't been scrappy. It's been really enjoyable to cover.
Well, if you're Tom Couch at the moment, you'd be loving this. Both teams going at it.
Certainly combative as it comes in again. Smith down, doing well up against Leadham. It's Franklin. A big ball inside 50, this one. Coming late was Bill Chambers, couldn't take it. It's Bryce Walsh who takes the crumb, and he's taken high. So Bryce Walsh will line up to level this one. Who would have thought, the way Launceston were playing, Lauderdale now with a shot to square it up.
It's 4 goals, Damo. 4 goals was the lead, so what a comeback here from the Bombers, Brownie.
Oh, look, I love the way they've gone about it. It was a great inside 50 kick there from Franklin. Just gave all his forwards an opportunity. And as he's done throughout his whole career, Bryce Walsh, front and centre, going after the contested footy. And it looked like Donnell on there that may have given away the high tackle. Opportunity to make it level pegging here, Bryce Walsh.
In he comes. Oh, he's hit the woodwork. So you almost would have pinned that one down for the skipper, but he couldn't make it work. A behind.
Yeah, costly miss there for the Bombers as we approach time on. Second term, everything on the line this afternoon. Spot in the grand final up for grabs against the Bombers this time next week. It's going to be a cracker, whoever gets through, as Rundle takes the mark for the Blues. He pushes it forward. And now Hines, who's been amongst all these spot fires, that's for sure. He goes backwards again. 5-point buffer here at Bell Reef. Here's Savage now. He's got Dunellen all on his own. Dunellen and up the ground. He's got a target as well. Decides to use it. It might be dangerous though, and punched away. Really nice stuff from Robbie McManus to get there and send that one over.
Yeah, teammates really appreciate that. He started the game really well, Robbie McManus. Drifted out a little bit in this second quarter.
So a ball in. And it comes Leadham and Smith again. He just shoves him out of the way, Leadham. Gets the footy. Lonigan gets boot to ball. Puts it on the paint of 50. McGuinness dives onto it. And tapped away and out of bounds. So a decent old crowd in this afternoon. SFL Grand Final day here in the south as well. Lots of Grand Finals around Tasmania. NWFL up at Latrobe and NTFA Division 1 at Windsor Park. Damian Gill will bring us those scores throughout the afternoon, which we're looking forward to. As Launceston have the footy. Josh McGuinness, who kicked the goal not too long ago, Ed Stanley, and again out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
Well, you'd expect this in a preliminary final day, Damo. The ultimate prize is up for grabs, an opportunity to play off in the TSL Grand Final in a week's time. You don't want to cough it up and give your opposition an easy time of it.
No stone unturned, that's for sure. Over the head of O'Donoghue. Blackberry tries to pick it up, but it's Lauderdale away now through Franklin. A big ball. Well done, Bell Chambers. He comes and claims it. Now he's got Alex Hill in space, or Ray Hill. He opts for Alex.
He's got Bryce Walsh on, but he hasn't spotted him.
He's got Bryce Walsh over the back.
Oh, yeah.
He is a long kick, though, Alex Hill. I'll give him a chance from here.
He's going to take it on. He's kicked 2 already. He kicked 5 against them last time up at Windsor Park.
Wasn't happy with that, Bryce Walsh.
So, Alex Hill will be kicking from 50. Bit of a stuttered approach. He strikes it well, though.
Oh.
Will it sneak home? Just the wrong side. Got a very nice purchase, did Alex Hill. Just couldn't quite get the journey.
4 points. They're edging closer, Lauderdale. And we're well into time on now. So we see Williams bring it back in and just hits his target in his teammate and Taylor. Taylor kicks it to the wing and nobody home. It was an odd kick and now it's back with the Bombers. McGuinness is there. Walsh as well. Can he pick it up? He can't. He's almost got it. Boyce was all over him, but the kick away by Launceston in the end only as far as Lauderdale though, and Anderton. He centres the footy to Franklin.
There's certainly more urgency about him offensively, Lauderdale.
Franklin pushes it to 50. Oh, good strong mark taken by the Bombers. I think might be the late inclusion in Adams.
It's been pretty lively
he
too.
Has. So Adams will
Bell
load
Chambers
up
wants it long so he can have a run and jump at it.
Top of the square style here. No one there for the Bombers and Agarnis out of trouble. Blackberry gets the handball away to Taylor. He pushes it to the wing now, and Smith was dealt with there, so the Bombers will get it back. 4 points as we approach half-time. Can the Bombers hit the lead before the major break? I'd love to, and go into this biggest break of the game with some confidence. They probably will anyway. They've fought back beautifully here. Was out to 4 goals at one stage. We go inside 50 again. Here's Bell Chambers, does well, gets rid of a number of opponents, but Agarnis now out of danger. And now the Blues get it out again. O'Donoghue, good nice mark out in front. Off the Rundle kick. Blackberry pokes it forward. They're away there, Launceston, but nothing further forward. Palfreyman.
He
finds Whiting and punched away there by Anderton out of bounds. Boundary throw-in. 23 minutes gone, second term.
Gee, we've got a great game of footy, haven't we?
Rain
has eased a little bit in the second quarter, but certainly the contest and the standard of footy hasn't been diminished at all through the weather in this game.
Taylor gets it out, squeezed out a handball on the boot of Rundle. And it's Josh McGuinness who arrives just before Ben. Great courage.
Friendly fire from the brothers there, I think. Oh, you had to go at it, son.
Kicking Josh McGuinness. It bounces fortuitously into the path of Adams. An interesting little poking kick inside for Bryce Walsh. Sells him into all sorts of trouble. He's in a blue sandwich.
That was brilliant from Bryce Walsh because he could have quite easily coughed that footy up, but he just wore 2 or 3 big tackles from Launceston. Got a ball up for his team. Well done.
What's a blue sandwich taste like, Gil?
I'm not too sure. You can ask Bryce Walsh. He just got one. Adams somehow gets on the boot, but not good enough, says the umpire. Free kick.
Been reasonably well subdued by his lofty standards, Jay Blackberry.
So here he goes off that trusty left, long and strong for O'Donoghue. Just fisted away by Ben McGuinness. Comes to Smith.
Clever,
tipped
Robbie.
on by Robbie McManus. Then to Fife. He's usually so sure by foot. Looking for hooker. Arriving was Vandervelde. Doesn't take it. Aganis gets it on the second grab. Brown tumbles one out of the back 50 for the Blues. A kick around the body almost for Leadham. Smith arrives, does okay, but puts it the wrong direction. Clever by Blackberry. Out to the electric ruller, Kelly Mansell. Looking for O'Donoghue. Good work by Ben McGuinness. Jostled for position. Anderton now outside 50. Punched down by Hines. Picked up by Blackberry. On that left boot again. Almost rinse and repeat. It was the same contest and the same result with Lauderdale winning out. Ben McGuinness now squeezes out a kick. Interesting. Looked destined for Hines. Coming in was Boscott. He was clipped as he kicked it. It falls for hooker almost. No, then Sutton. He couldn't quite grab it. A few almost moments here for Lauderdale. And then it was almost out through Wiggins, but he caught one high.
Got hooker free. And that's 50 metres.
Oh, take the 50.
Why would you do it?
Clever by Boscott. He just stood there, did not move a muscle to take the ball. And the Launceston throwback was maybe a metre either side of him.
Was it young Casey Brown?
I believe it was, yeah, it was young Casey Brown.
Well, there you go.
And he's been pretty quiet, Ryan Wiggins.
This might just light a fire under Ryan Wiggins and the Lauderdale Football Club. From the square, Wiggins hits the top of the stand and Lauderdale hit the front.
Well, it's been a good quarter for them. They've kicked 4 goals to 1, I think, if I've got my maths right here, boys.
Yeah, the
There's something wrong with that scoreboard. That's confusing me.
Just added a goal to the wrong team there.
That's okay. It's only a prelim final.
I did teach you maths once, Damo, gone back a few years ago. But there's definitely a muck up with the scoreboard. Lauderdale definitely in front. So, gee, you know, it's hard enough in finals footy to get scores, forward entries and goals rather than giving them up with a 50-metre penalty.
Nothing wrong with the scoreboard on Simon DeLittle TV. We're up to date as the ball goes inside 50 again for Lauderdale. Can they get another before the major break? Franklin now, Hill. Oh, well done by Launceston. And now a dangerous turnover. Hill snaps around. It's a weird old kick. It comes back in. And the mark couldn't be taken. Here's Wiggins again. Right, hugging the boundary. It's a high ball. And the mark couldn't be taken. So just a little let off there for Launceston. Lauderdale really attacking hard now.
Scoreboard, it's got it back together.
We're right.
2 points the ball game. 27 minutes gone, second term.
4 goal to 1 in favour of the Bombers this quarter, boys.
Been some turnaround, that's for sure. Leadham taps it down. Hines gets the ball, boots the ball. And Franklin, though, takes a nice mark.
Well, he has been verbally in him. Into Jake Hines, I'm talking about Thor Boscott for the last 20 minutes. Every time he gets the footy, every time he thinks there's a mistake made by Hines, he's into him.
Well,
gee, this becomes a big kick, doesn't it?
Enormous kick
He
for
kicked
Nat Franklin.
a similar one 2 weeks ago.
So this to push it out to 8 points at halftime. Nat Franklin comes in. It's bending back. It's bending back. It's there. Lauderdale are back in business. They lead this one by 8 points in the prelim final.
Look at the fire, spot fires here.
Here we go.
They're into each other.
You just don't want to do anything stupid. You do not want to do anything stupid in this situation. You'd hate to miss next week.
Not much the umpires can do, really. I mean, they can't go and award another free kick or anything like that.
Denellen firing up in there.
Darren Winters out there just watching nervously from a distance, making sure his players are doing the right thing.
So plenty of feeling in this one.
This is a beauty. Don't go anywhere.
Launceston owned the first quarter, Lauderdale the second. They hold an 8-point lead. And we have an absolute cracker of a prelim final, lads. How are we seeing it?
Well, I love the response from Lauderdale for that quarter. They kicked 5 out of the 6 goals scored. As we often see, boys to the right of screen, kicking to the river end, it seems to be conducive to kicking a lot of goals. As the Lauderdale supporters are up and about too, they give their team a standing ovation as they come off the ground.
So loud.
I just thought some of their work in the contest was fantastic. Some of the ground level balls and the attack on the footy, and I thought the captain was terrific. Bryce Walsh, the way he went about it, I thought Boscott started to work his way into the game. Franklin was another one that was really important for them. Bell Chambers bobbed up with a goal as well, and Hill's been a presence for them as well. And so look, I love the way they went about it. Lauderdale, having said that, from a Launceston perspective, there's still only 8 points down at half time, and they'll get a chance to regroup. They didn't really have the game on their terms in that quarter, so they'll certainly, at some period of time, you would think, have some opportunity to do some damage with ball in hand in the third quarter, and they've just got to make every post to win it from here. But we know they certainly won't throw it away, and we mentioned at the start of the game, Damo, in the second half, they've outscored their oppositions in the last 2 finals, 17 goals to 8, so they'll get a lot of confidence going about that in the second half.
Who's been the standout for you, well, the standouts rather, for you guys in terms of Lauderdale's fight back into this one?
Well, look, I did like the work of the captain. They threw him forward, and I just thought he set the tone with some of his inside 50 ground level ball gets, and I thought he was terrific the way he went about it. I thought Boscott actually started to get his hands on the footy too, and certainly looked dangerous. Franklin, some 3 or 4 deep inside 50 entries, and he just started to work his way into the contest. And you'd expect that, boys, because both teams have got some brilliant players on ball, and when collectively they're all going pretty well, they're going to do some damage for their team. Hill was another one that was dangerous up forward. Bell Chambers, as I mentioned before, looked lively, and it was a little bit similar to the way Launceston went about it in the first quarter from a defensive point of view. I thought Lauderdale's back half stood up really, really well. Wish Wilson, Clevercamp had some really nice moments for them. Anderson certainly went about it the right way. So I thought it was a pretty good even contribution from Lauderdale, and obviously the best quarter of footy they've played for a while after what was a bit of a debacle for them last week. So it's set up for an absolute ripper. I just thought they lost their way a little bit in Launceston. Jake Hines was under a little bit of pressure in that quarter, so he'll certainly learn a little bit more about that, and some great coaching from Chris Hills on the boundary line, and certainly spent a little bit of time with him at one point when he was off the ground, just working him and probably coaching him through some different situations. But you'd think, if Lauderdale Launceston are going to get back into this game, it's going to come on the back of players like Blackberry, Lonigan, Rundle, these sorts of players. Boyce probably drifted out of the game a little bit for them in that quarter, so too did Connor Smith, but they just didn't have the entries. Kelly Mansell, we keep saying it, is another one that you think, if he can just get his hands on the footy, I'd love to see him starting deep. He's explosive on the lead, and he's one, if he can have 5 or 6 minutes, he can kick 2 or 3 goals in a real hurry.
So half-time here, it is Lauderdale with the advantage, 7-7-49, Launceston 41. An absolute cracking TSL Prelim Final. Stay with us. I'll quickly run through the goal kickers before we do go to that break. For Lauderdale, well, they kicked a few in the hurry in the second quarter. 2 from Alex Hill, goals from Franklin, Bell Chambers, Wiggins and Fife, as well as Josh McGuinness. For Launceston, multiples coming from Connor Smith and Joe Boyce, both in the first quarter. Nathan O'Donoghue and Sonny Whiting, their other goal kickers. So Lauderdale with an 8-point lead here. This game is well and truly up for grabs, of course. A massive prize on the line, a spot in the TSL Grand Final. Stay with us.
Outside defensive 50. Mark to McManus. He plays on immediately. Kicks inside 50. He's Heavey once again. He takes an easy mark. About 25 metres out from goal, directly in front. Heavey for goal. Keeps it low. It's accurate. First goal on the board for the Lauderdale Bombers. McGannis doesn't get the knockout. Falls to Polfman for goal. It's the first goal of the day to the Blues. Opportunist goal there. Brody Polfman.
Oh, it's good hands out of traffic. Finds Franklin. His handball lets him down. There for, I think it's Blackberry under all that. It was. He was collected.
Oh, someone down here and badly injured too, I think. Blackberry's putting his hand up.
Someone in a spotter bother. It's a blue.
Flanagan.
Little ball inside. It's well gathered in the end by Brendan Taylor. He gets it off and finds Boyce, but Boyce had no idea where he was. He was caught in a tackle immediately.
Has the umpire called play on here? That's the question.
No, he's called 50. So Joe Boyce wanders on in, looked confident off the boot, and that's why. Straight through the sticks. And it's a goal for Launceston. Just swats it away. It's picked up by Aganis. He's everywhere, the big fella. Hands it off. And it's now with Kelly Mansell from the left pocket. He looks at goal and he says, I'll help myself, brother Kelly Mansell.
Ball up in the centre square once again. Leadham falls on top of his head. It's taken away by Boscott. Hasn't had much to do so far. Boscott up to attacking 50. Mark taken by Clinton Brown. He's clear now. He gets it in short. And the mark's taken by that's Ray Hill from 45. Close to the man the mark delivers. It's coming back nicely. It's a second goal on the board for Lauderdale. To Ray Hill. As Leadham does beautifully to Pelfreman. Pelfreman gets some space. He gets the handle off to Connor Smith from 30 out. Connor Smith on the left has put it through. Great team play there from the Blues. Generated by good ruck work to Pelfreman. Then Connor Smith got clear. He's had a good first term, Connor Smith.
There for, who have we got there? It's Bill Chambers who goes to Havea. It's a vacant 50 for Lauderdale, and it's Boscott all on his own. A good shepherd coming, and Boscott can stroll on in and put through the first of the second term, and that's what he does, Thor Boscott.
They're on now here with Boscott. Boscott kicks up towards the advantage here of a Lauderdale teammate who takes the mark. That's Corey Laumsis, who's going to shoot for goal from about 15 metres out, directly in front. Great vision for Boscott. Corey Laumsis directly in front, and he makes no mistake, does he? Yes, it's straight into the netting. Goal to the Lauderdale Bombers.
Not one convincingly either way, but it's Franklin who emerges with it. And it's a good kick for Boscott, who comes out and claims it, and he's off straight away and puts it through. Thor Boscott tearing this game apart at Windsor Park. We'll go to Dylan Fife, who's a crafty player with ball in hand. The pocket rocket just nudges inside and finds Alex Hill. He might just try his best effort from about 45. Oh, he never looked like it. Handed off for Wiggins. The designated kicker goes boom from 50 and puts it through. Ryan Wiggins. Beautiful finish for the Bombers. But that is a massive divide in the free kick count. Sutton wanders on in, never really looked like it, puts it up to the top of the square, and what a mark! Alex Hill, if you don't mind, comes deep in the pack and takes a tremendous clunk. What a bit of work from big Alex Hill. In come Alex Hill, a little skip and a little kick, and through it goes. Alex Hill gets Lauderdale on the board here early in the third quarter. Indeed, it's with Ray Hill inside, finds McManus striding through the centre of Windsor Park. Finds Havea around 60 metres from goal, gets it moving out in front of Boscott. He'll run onto it, Boscott, from the pocket over the top. Heavey all on his own. Oh, he slips, but he recovers and puts it through. 2 in a row for Lauderdale to start this third term. Crosses 50, strikes it well. It's going towards goal. Pack forms, and it's a big mark. A big time mark taken right near the goal line by Thor Boscott. Who else is being dynamic? Pops it through, and it's another one for Lauderdale. Things are getting out of hand for Launceston.
Bush Wilson's there with none. Bush Wilson shovels it out towards Walsh. Now with Fife. Fife tries to get the handball over. Intercepted by Rella Kelly Mansell. Shot for goal from Kelly Mansell. Round the corner. Has he done it? I think he has. That's 3 today for Rella Kelly Mansell. It's a team lifter. That's what the Blues needed.
to Bryce Walsh, and Lauderdale away now. Boscott explodes. He's got just one to contend with in the 50. Spins around, puts it over the top. Launceston will wander on in and put through another for Lauderdale. Beautiful work from Thor Boscott. Didn't panic, assessed the options, and it is Lauderdale's 10th of the game.
Ray Hill for goal. It's a high kick. Not going to make the distance. Boscott's there hovering again. Vandervelde falls straight to Roberts. It's a goal to Lauderdale. Off the fist of Vandervelde. Fell in the lap of Roberts. Could bring them back in the game. Here comes Fife now. Out of the middle. Fife up towards Alex Hill again. Has he marked it? No, he hasn't. He nearly got purchase on it. Umpire's paid it, has he? He has. And once again, there's Alex Hill for goal. That's another one, Alex Hill. It's another one for Lauderdale. That's their 13th. Alex Hill is on fire here at Windsor Park. It's 13-7-85 to Launceston 6-3-39.
It's picked up by Stanley. Does well with hand. Finds a runner in Franklin, then to Ben McGuinness. Finds his brother in Josh, who finds a little bit of space. Gets it on the boot. Over the back, it might just find Ray Hill. It does. A long approach. He's gone a long way back. A distance of about 15 metres if he took it true. He took it from further way out and puts it through the big sticks. So Lauderdale with their 14th for the game.
It's a low bounce, that one. Forced to lead him. Gets a quick kick out of the centre towards Gillow. Ricochets here towards Blackberry. Picks it up on the second attempt. Shovels it forward. Evades Ben McGuinness to Franklin. Can't pick it up. McGuinness fumbles also. Picks it up now. Runs into a brick wall. Back to Rundle. Inside 50. Falls now to Whiting. He's got Gillow. He doesn't go to him. He's going to go himself. Tony Whiting. Now he goes to Gillow. He might pick up round the corner. James Gillow. That's a goal for the Blues. Good goal there from James Gillow.
So Lauderdale, the game just going their way. They're on top here at Windsor Park, a commanding scoreboard lead as it goes long down the line from Heavey. A big boot and a big clunk from Alex Hill. He's on fire, the big man. Skips on in, kicks it nicely. He was happy with it, and that's why. Through the sticks, another for Alex Hill, his 4th of the afternoon, and a 15th for Lauderdale.
He plays on now on his right boot. Kicks short, looking for Whiting. Marks. About 45 out. Here's an opportunity for the Blues' 8th goal. Approaches the man on the mark. Not too bad. Sonny Whiting has got another goal for the Blues. That's their 8th. 8-4-52. Lauderdale 15-9-99. And that's the play that we've seen from the Blues this year, Gilly, but we haven't seen it much today. That's the leading forwards, the Rullakilly Mansell, the Sonny Whitings.
Rundle follows up his work. Gets it on the boot. A long high ball. It's deep into the forward line, and it's deep straight into the arms of Sonny Whiting.
Fantastic use of the body there from Sonny Whiting.
Whiting gets on the move and puts it through. So Whiting been well held all afternoon. He's starting to get off the leash here.
There's Hutchison now. Sums up his options, or goes straight to Bellchambers. Will probably get this. He fumbles the first time, he gets it the second time. Here he goes from about 48 metres out. Bellchambers, great goal, Phil Bellchambers. He executed the smother, he picked up the spillage.
Gets it moving over the top, in between Gillow, Kelly Mansell and Whiting. None of them come out with it. Straight to Bryce Walsh, but he gives it straight to Blackberry. That little lefty puts it into the middle and finds Gillow. So in comes Gillow. Off the left and through the middle. Never looked like missing. Sting pretty well out of this game as it Nunn takes it out of the ruck, and if you don't mind, he's put it through.
Not a lot of space, although Jake Smith finds some, he takes the mark. Debuted back in 2013, Jake Smith. Kicks for goal. It might come round, it's not a bad attempt here, it's a goal. He's made a liar of me. Jake Smith puts her his first for the day.
It's kicked forward by Connor Smith. Back with a flight goes Bellchambers. He's run into an own player, and Clevercamp will follow that one. Ducking and diving is a Launceston player there. Launceston with a good last term, but Lauderdale have been the better team this afternoon. And the siren draws a close to a big win for Lauderdale. Back for the second half here at Blunston Arena. Launceston back on the field. They are 8 points adrift of the Lauderdale Bombers, who entered the main break supremely confident with Nat Franklin kicking a goal after the siren. It's been a cracking game so far and it promises to continue that way. Boys, what do we expect from the second half?
Oh, look, plenty of action, that's for sure. It's been a lively first half. It's been a wonderful game of footy to watch. Not just the contest, but all the spot fires going on, as we've talked about through the afternoon. They've been right into Hines, of course, the Lauderdale boys. But I think Lauderdale win from here, boys. I just feel they've got their backs up now, Brownie, and they're playing some good footy.
Yeah, and look, they had a lot of players that brought some real energy in that second quarter and were able, I guess, to energise their team in the same fashion. And as we mentioned, it was a big second quarter for the Lauderdale Footy Club, and they got their hands on the footy. They looked dangerous forward, and particularly when the ball hit the ground, some of their efforts to win that contested footy was terrific. Started to get in top of the clearances, and they went in with an 8-point lead. But having said that, Launceston, they're certainly not out of this game, and we know what their second halves have been like against some terrific opposition in the finals. I don't think, Damo, you will see too much difference in the way they go about it positional-wise in the third quarter. I would think both teams will back their systems and their structures the way they perhaps were in the first half. So I don't think there'll be any major changes. Maybe Lonergan might push forward a little bit more. Sorry, not so much push forward, push into the midfield a little more in the second half. He spent a fair bit of time out of there as we speak. Lauderdale will roll different players in there, we know that. But I think both teams will be pretty settled in the way, particularly behind the footy, and they're fairly comfortable with their matchups. So, as we mentioned just before we went off for half-time, Damo, I'd love to see Kelly Mansell out of the square in this quarter, maybe just to show something a little different. He had spent some time up on the wing on Robbie McManus on different occasions. Sonny Whiting hasn't really been able to get into the game at this particular point in time, so I don't know what to make about the scoring end, boys, because so often we see it, don't we, when we've done the live stream, that I think, what have we seen? We've probably seen 10 of the 13 goals all kicked to the right of screen.
Darren Winter's out of the change rooms. His team isn't. Oh, they are. They're at the other end of the field. I missed that, boys.
Yeah, missed that. There was a big cheer
I've been there for a while, Brent.
Head in my phone, so trying to get some scores from around the grounds, but have come up with zip. So he's feeling pretty good about himself, Darren Winter. Even at quarter time, I saw him race down to the boundary, and he was sort of in good spirits. So wasn't panicked, and that showed in the second quarter. His team weren't panicked either. They came back beautifully and turned that 24-point deficit around.
Well, someone's going to have a story, aren't they, out of this in the next hour or so. If it's Launceston, wouldn't that be unbelievable to come from fifth, win 3 finals away from home, unprecedented, and launch into a TSL final, albeit ironically in Launceston, their region. So that would be fantastic for them. And then Lauderdale, they've, I guess, been building for 3 or 4 years now, and we felt like their list in terms of the demographic and age and games played from a profile point of view would be cherry ripe to launch at potentially a top 3 finish, and we certainly felt that way at the beginning of the season, and now they're just an hour away from potentially their first ever TSL Grand Final, Damo. A lot to look forward to in the second half.
I can't wait for what this second half will bring. Into the middle, all the guns. Blackberry, Boscott, Palfreyman, Franklin, Hines. They're all there to start this third term.
It's a mud pit out there, Damo.
It is. Certainly no issues with the hardness of the centre wicket.
He's been pretty quiet, Palfreyman, but he has this tendency to work his way into the game, doesn't he?
He does indeed. Up they go. Smith and Leadham. Contest halved. It falls for Franklin, but a whistle is blown, and it'll be a Bellchambers kick. Just a little over the top there, I think Leadham just came in hard. So it'll be a free kick for Bellchambers. Had an impact towards the end of that second term. Here's a burst player. Bellchambers from the centre square looks long. An interesting kick. It favoured Tyrrell. Tyrrell tries to paddle it back to his defence. Boscott can't win it. Blackberry emerges with it. Kelly Mansell down the wing. Anderton in best position, doesn't take the grab. It's out of play.
So 8 points is the buffer. It's been a wonderful game of footy, as we've said throughout the afternoon. What will the second half bring? Do or die. Grand final spot on the line. Leadham punches it forward. And now Blackberry gets the handball off to Kelly Mansell. Inside 50. Nunn turns around. Does he get it away? He does to Lonigan. Lonigan wheels around. The kick is okay. It goes to the square, but mark taken by Stanley on the last line of defence. And Stanley, former Clarence player, of course. Been with Lauderdale now for a few seasons. He brings it back into play. O'Donoghue takes the mark. So he'll go back now.
They well set up behind the footy then, Launceston. I was just looking ahead of the play there, and it wasn't going to be easy for them to penetrate, which was a pretty good zone to defend that kick out. Donoghue be right on his distance, I would have thought, Damo.
It's great to see him back in the competition. Spent a few years away after being part of that premiership team in 2011. Be great to see him back in a grand final next week. He loads up right on 50. It's not going to have enough on it. Pack formed and a few players flew through the air. Clevercamp got the kick away, only as far as the boundary, and calls for deliberate, but it'll be a throw in, right in the pocket of Launceston's attacking 50. The rain's staying away at the moment. The sunshine was bathing the ground there for a little while towards the end of that second quarter. Just nice conditions at the moment. Smith taps it down. Franklin got the kick away. But the Blues turn it over again through Kelly Mansell. Tyrrell rolls around. He gets it to the top of the square. Can anyone take a mark? Gillow was there. And he's got it.
No, it's going the other way.
The other way.
Stanley, mate.
So Stanley will get the kick. He plays on. And goes long to the wing. To the half-forward line, in fact. And now the Bombers, they're away. Here's Boscott, so dangerous, we know that. And now Hines, who's in the thick of the action in that second quarter. Franklin wrapped up. Prize for holding the ball, and it's there. So the Blues will get the kick.
Well, the intent's been pretty good in the first 3 minutes from Launceston. It's been able to resettle after Lauderdale certainly got on top in that second quarter.
What's on offer for Savage here? He's been brilliant this final series. He pops it inside 50. And now Gillow, a chance at goal, but it's going to fall well short and off to the left, out of bounds. Boundary throwing. 8-point margin, 3.5 minutes gone, third term.
Not real warm up here, Brent.
No. What's so funny, Gil?
Just trying to get heat to the extremities as O'Donoghue takes it down. Almost comes to Lonigan. He's met by either side with a tackle, so it'll be a ball up.
Pressed up pretty high, haven't they? As we look out from our vantage point here, I'm talking about the Launceston press.
Over the back, which Wilson can't keep a hold of it. It was Blackberry trying to make something of it. Comes to Boyce and then Smith throws it on the boot. And it's out on the full.
Slow start to the third quarter. Premiership quarter, of course, Brownie. Important quarter, isn't it, the third quarter?
Yeah, it is, and it was almost made famous by that Carlton team in the 80s, that premiership coin or phrase that we hear about being in the third quarter.
So Sutton now scurries out a kick. Vanderveld all over it. Takes the grab.
Been pretty good, hasn't he? He doesn't get beaten too often. Now, there's a 50-metre penalty, I reckon.
Yep, I think you're right, Brownie. Encroached the mark, so I tell you what, I'm interested to see this ball drop from Vanderveld. We know it's interesting in field kicking for goal.
Well, with all due respect, he's been a terrific player for them since we've seen him for the first time this year, Damo, but he's not a great kicker. He often kicks them very high, doesn't he?
Tremendous one-on-one player. What's his kicking like on this occasion? He's pulled it to the left.
I actually wonder why, potentially someone like a Jay Blackberry didn't run behind the footy there. And that's no disrespect to Van Velde because he's been a terrific player for his club this season.
Alex Hill, good hands, can't quite take the grab. It comes out the back. It'll be all Lauderdale. Williams to Sutton. Errant handball, snared by Paul Freeman. Then to Hines, manages to scrap out a handball. Taylor over his head, just wide of Paul Freeman. Bustling in is all the Blues, though. Rundle tries to claim it. It's a slippery pill in the middle.
You mentioned slippery, and a number of players there, Hines, Denellen, both lost their footing. Lauderdale have worked hard here just to get it forward to centre.
They've done well. Smith down, paddling it towards Franklin, but he couldn't gather. Coming through was Gillo. Couldn't pick it up for the Blues. Clevercamp on hand, gets it on the boot. McManus gets a handball out, couldn't quite find Adams. Now it's the Blues. Boyce inside 50, raking ball, looking for O'Donoghue.
Outstanding mark, protected the ball drop there.
He never looked like not taking that, O'Donoghue. Just had best position on Ben McGuinness, and that big frame couldn't be moved out of the way.
You're right, great call. It was the big frame, and just protected the drop zone there, and has an opportunity to kick his second, I think, Nathan O'Donoghue.
Kicked 3 last week. He's like the final series. Comes on in. Kicks truly. Launceston fire first in the third.
He's a critical player for them. We've mentioned it over this final series. Ability to just stand tall when you need that long get-out kick sometimes in finals. And he presents so very well as a tall forward, and then can go into the ruck. Normally around about the 20-minute mark, where you'll see Leadham come off and just get a bit of a rest. So, and it's a difficult job, isn't it, for young Ben McGuinness, who was terrific a couple of weeks ago in the final against Clarence, back and forward. But he's giving away a fair bit of height and weight in that matchup.
Smith won the tap on that occasion. Bellchambers, quick hands out, Fife. Taylor had it too, and now Pulverman wrapped up with a footy. He's been slammed to the turf, and he'll get the kick here.
It's a dangerous tackle, I think.
There you go. So,
and he's, I think he's.
Lauderdale.
Is he reporting him? No.
Lauderdale fans do not like it. He is. Oh goodness me!
I just thought this is the body language of the umpire.
There's a big story. Robbie McManus on report for a potential grand final berth. So
we've seen a couple of reports today, boys.
Played his 150th game last week, Robbie McManus. It'll be devastating to see him miss out in the grand final. So that'll be interesting to look back at.
He's one out of the Catholic footy factory, isn't he, Damo, from
McKillop.
John Paul and McKillop factories?
Yeah.
They just churn them out.
Yeah, great footy programs, those two schools.
So a couple of Lauderdale players on report this afternoon. So we're going to have Lauderdale do make the grand final an interesting old week for news hounds like myself. As the ball's kicked by Pulverman in Leadham's direction. He does want to pick it up, he does, Brownie. Ball comes towards us here, right in front of us in the commentary box, and out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. Lauderdale fans not happy at all. They are not happy. Lots of cries of boo as it comes back in. Leadham all on his own that time. And big crunchy tackle. And now they're away, the Bombers. McManus drills it long, and Williams, the ever-reliable Stewie Williams, takes the mark. Plays on up the guts, he heads to Hines. He couldn't take the mark. Picked up though by Rundle, I think it was. And now McManus again, he tucks the footy under the arm, does a little dance, off to Bellchambers. He goes inside 50 again. And a good, strong mark taken by Hooker.
Well, I'm pleased for him because he struggled to get into this game. And he certainly got a great pair of mitts. Talking to Darren Winter, he certainly rates his marking ability really highly, young Hooker.
Yeah, he talked him up certainly during the press conference during the week, just about how well he's been going on the training track, etc. So this to put his team back in front by 7 points. Hooker loads up. It looks like it is off to the left. It is for a behind.
I think the next stage for his development, Damo, just probably get some more versatility and agility into his game, certainly relying a lot on his marking ability, but if that's not happening for him, probably needs to get some other attributes into his game so he can, I guess, offer more rather than that mark lead type of play. But he's young enough and certainly a bright future.
Savage goes long outside 50. Vandervelde tries to mark, can't take it. Bellchambers tries to get it out of there. He has another dip at it. He tackles Vandervelde. It comes out the back, socket by Blackberry. Picked up beautifully by Boyce on a burst. But his handball is actually a throw.
It was a great tackle.
It was a great tackle, a timely tackle by Josh.
Pretty good, this boy again, Josh McGuinness.
Yeah, been superb. Long kick. Oh, well done by Hooker. Arrives just at the right time. Gets it on the boot. Swings around. Arriving is Boscott! Takes the grab.
Well, that's what he can do. And it was a great tackle, wasn't it, by Josh McGuinness, because it looked like Joe Boyce had burst away from that stoppage and was able to potentially push Launceston deep. But a great defensive tackle. Well done to Hooker. He presented up. Like to see that from him. And then Boscott with a great jump and launch at the footy.
Here he is, the mighty Thor. Puts it through the hey diddle diddle. And Lauderdale extend their advantage again.
Well, he can do it. You said it, Brownie. He's an impact player, isn't he? When he's up and about, his team's normally up and about as well. And they lead this one now by 8 points.
Well, he's a difficult man to keep out in 4 quarters of footy, because he can win it certainly as a midfielder, but he is really dangerous. And Lauderdale like the idea of him at times playing one out. And we've seen him kick, I think, 8 or 9 goals once early on this year, Damo, from memory, and certainly had a purple patch forward in terms of kicking multiple goals.
8-point buffer now. Back in the middle. Ball wrapped up. The Bombers, though, through Fife. Can they get the footy? He does well, the little man. Off to Bell Chambers. Silky smooth Bell Chambers comes through. But the kick on this occasion isn't his best. And Launceston collect. It's not a great kick.
Wasn't balancing, Savage, unfortunately.
Out of bounds on the full. So Bell Chambers will take it now for Lauderdale.
Important 5 or so minutes coming up here for Launceston. Lauderdale certainly launching.
They are indeed. Here's Hooker again. Good mitts.
Well, that's
great
what we're
mitts
talking
out
about.
In front.
He's had a great 5 minutes.
Centres the footy and
well done.
Does well, the Bombers. So they've got the mark here. They're away. And inside 50 now, just outside 50, the mark taken.
Don't give it
and
away.
It's Adams. He'll just go back now. Plays on quickly though. Adams delivers it to a big pack. Thor again. Couldn't get there. McGuinness tried to get boot to ball. Over the top. Fife again. Can he get another? He can! Dylan Fife has 2 goals for the game, and Lauderdale extend their lead even further.
Well done to Campbell Hooker. He's given him a bit of a spark in the last 5 or so minutes. And Josh Williams also took a really smart mark from an attacking kick from Hooker, where he squared it up. But Dylan Fife, don't underestimate that goal, boys. He showed a lot of class and poise there. Just took his time, measured it beautifully, great finish, and the biggest lead of the game, I would have thought, from a Lauderdale perspective, out to 14 points. Launceston, of course, certainly from their end had a handy lead, particularly in the first quarter, but a game-high lead for Lauderdale at this point.
So Lauderdale out in front. What does Launceston have in response? Well, they have a free kick downfield. It'll be Gillo's ball.
I just wonder whether Lonigan will spend some more minutes forward now, boys.
Gillo looking in the winding direction. He can't quite take the grab. Anderton emerges with it. A bouncing ball gathered by Gillo. Good lateral movement. Drops it off for Shepherd. Gets it into the pocket. Timely fist coming by Stanley, and out it goes. Just a quick one. Message in. Someone from the Corpus Christi footy factory, actually. Oh, free kick. So it'll be a Lauderdale ball. So they move it out of defence.
That is a footy factory.
Mitch McPherson. He's in New York tonight.
Oh.
So he's just working the world, is Mitch McPherson.
Oh, to be him, hey?
Not happy with the report for that dangerous tackle.
Well, he would have been able to rewind it back and have a look at it, to be fair. So we'll take his word for that.
Hill powers long and strong. Ray Hill arrives, almost takes the mark. Coming through is the big ruckman, Smith. A good handball. Ray Hill can't quite gather. He's got a couple of blues to contend with through the legs. Handing out was Brown. Get Launceston out of trouble. Donnellan a little too cute with the kick. Left very little margin for error, and Sutton takes the ball. A higher one. Comes down with snow on it. Vandervelde punches clear, and out it goes again.
Bathed in sunshine again here at Blunston Arena. Funny old day. We've had almost torrential rain at the start of the game, on and off, and now nice sunshine. Still very cold up here in the com box though, boys.
Thrown back in again. A high throw. O'Donoghue takes it. Punts it forward. Almost taken there by the Blues. Bustling through was Walsh. Does well. Heavey on the boot. First to it. Cam Brown's man, Tyrrell. Oh.
Free
interesting.
Kick,
no, I think he's just got to go back. I'm not sure what the call was there, Brownie.
Not sure why. I thought he was instinctive, took the mark and played on, but probably penalised the team. And look, my concern at the moment, boys, for Launceston, we've probably gone 45 minutes of footy now since quarter time, and they've just kicked the 2 goals. O'Donoghue probably looks the likely one for them forward. He's currently in the ruck, so we've mentioned Kelly Mansell. I'd love to see him forward just for 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe he can exploit him with that leg speed of his.
They've been wonderful this final series, Launceston. What can they provide us in this next quarter and a half of football? Grand final spot on the line, we know that. Everything to play for.
They're on the ropes at the moment, Launceston. They just need to get one against the flow here to get themselves back into this game.
Lonigan drives it forward. Kelly Mansell was there, but went straight past it. And now Lauderdale are away again. It's over the top from Clevercamp. Alex Hill off to the running Fife, who gets a big bump from Sammy Lonigan. And now the Lauderdale boys get the footy back. Walsh, that was a big hit. And now Savage. And Launceston have it back now to their advantage. Hines, right on the boundary. The kick might be out in the forward is. So Lauderdale will be able to reset here. They lead this one by 14 points as we approach time on third term. Grand final ahead of us next weekend. 3:30 start, twilight affair at UTAS Stadium. Bombers are away here now.
Great kick.
Anderton gets it forward. Oh, good strong mark out in front by the Bombers. It's Williams.
He's got some talent, Williams.
He pushes it forward. Franklin's all on his own here. He wheels around, gets the kick on the left, and it's Launceston though that take the mark. Shepherd, wonderful moustache. Shepherd pops it to the wing. Sutton was there, couldn't take the mark. Umpire's blown the whistle. Free kick.
He's played that. Wasn't actually the officiating umpire.
There wasn't much in that.
50 metres off the ball.
Was not much in that, boys.
These Lauderdale supporters are loud. They did not like that one little bit.
Great work, Evie.
What a star Alex Evie is. Been a stalwart of this footy club for a long time. Deserves to play off in a grand final next week if he gets that chance. Here they come, Lauderdale. The kick wasn't great, but it was an under pressure one, and Launceston turned the footy over. O'Donoghue. It could be deliberate here if it bounces out of play. Pulverman gets there. Is he taken high? Umpire says no.
Just hasn't got up and running, Pulverman, in this game for my Damo. Look, you just wonder what the last couple of weeks have taken out of Launceston. Now it's a critical point in the game for them. 20-minute mark of the third quarter. Lauderdale really with the momentum at the moment.
Oh, it's a free kick paid here.
They'd love a goal against the flow.
In fairness, interesting work in the ruck by Wiggins. I'm not sure how often he's rucked, but it's interesting technique-wise. O'Donoghue finds Tyrrell. Been good again, the youngster.
Who's this coming off gingerly here, boys?
Boyce again. He's been in the wars. He's pumped long down the line. Kelly Mansell sits in front and takes the grab. He turns and burns and puts it on the boot. Asks a bit of Shepherd. Sits under it. Bustles in and makes a contest of it, Shepherd. Dunellen caught high. And it will be Dunellen's shot at goal.
Well, he's a left footer. He should wind up here and make the distance, no trouble. He's another one who's played some really good finals footy for Launceston and lost a bit of form during the season. Actually lost his place in the team, but it's fought his way back in. We know he had a really bad knee injury at his under-18 Mariners year.
So kicking from about 40 out. Dunellen off that trusty left. He hooks it. A minor score.
Now they just have to defend really hard from this kick out Launceston. They need repeat inside 50 entries. just haven't been able to get it on the scoreboard over the last 50 minutes of this match.
So Stanley playing on, pumps it beyond the arc. Van der Velde sits under it, punches, but can't gather. Timely involvement from Casey Brown. He comes out with it, puts it into the 50. It was Kelly Mansell.
It's going to be a free kick.
He was held on to, Kelly Mansell. So they've called for him forward all day, Cam Brown. That's where he is right now. Let's see what he can do.
It's his leg speed that worries off the burst, and not sure the Lauderdale player gave the free kick away on that occasion, Damo.
I think it was Stanley. I think
Stanley,
he just lost him on that burst you speak of and felt for him and felt a little bit too much. So a free kick, and Kelly Mansell wanders in. Bit of an unsure approach, but the kick is anything but. So Kelly Mansell on the board, and Launceston cut the margin again. Not much in this ball game at all, fellas. 7 points.
It was a critical goal for them because you just felt Lauderdale was starting to surge and maybe potentially put the game beyond Launceston. But how could you deny them, boys? They've been fantastic over the last 3 weeks. And even now, look, 7 points behind, 22-minute mark of this third quarter. And well done to Kelly Mansell. Great finish.
Enormous final term coming up. Do not go anywhere. Strap yourselves in as Launceston lift another gear. Here's Smith inside 50. O'Donoghue. Nathan O'Donoghue takes the big mark and will go back and kick from 35 metres out.
Alex Hill was filthy.
Yeah, he was. And Rundle was all on his own in the square as well.
Nathan O'Donoghue, a veteran of Tasmanian football, back with the Launceston Footy Club this year. Can he cut this margin back to a point? In he comes. Kick looks like it's okay off the boot. Launceston are back to within a point, and we have game on here in the prelim final.
Aren't they amazingly resilient footy club, Launceston? You just thought maybe the next about 5 or 6 minutes ago, potentially, the game might have been getting away from them, but all of a sudden, they surge forward. O'Donoghue's been a presence right throughout this game as a forward, and the leading goal kicker on the ground at the moment with 3 goals last week too in the winning final against Clarence. And we've got a 1 point ball game.
Goodness me.
What a final series they've had, Launceston.
Tremendous.
Never give up, do they?
Doesn't have a full stop on it. Coming through was Leadham, down for Hines. Leadham might have another crack at it. Geez, he's competitive. Here he is now, the big man. Dumped in a tackle. Going nowhere.
Yeah, it's a great call, Damo. He's very competitive and not frightened to get his hands dirty and get in and under and try and get a ground ball get for his team.
Here he is again. On this occasion, Smith betters him. Wins the hit out, but Taylor sharks it. From Lonigan to Hines. Off the left boot. A wobbler inside 50. Punched away by Scott Hill. Blackberry loses his footing. Oh, he's copped a high free kick.
He's fallen for that, the umpire.
My, oh my. Well,
good hands, though.
Fortuitous for Launceston, perhaps. It's cosmic justice. Coming through was Boscott, tries to pick it up.
No, he's given one away.
Good recovery there from Scotty Hill, wasn't it?
Well, now, he's just want to be careful for Boscott.
I think he only knows one way, Cam Brown. He's a raging bull, is Boscott. He looks back into defence, and that's where he finds Anderton. Quickly finds Alex Hill. Go over the top. They've got spare men.
They're out.
Now it's Wish Wilson. Over the back. He should find Heavey if his kick's good enough. Heavey tries a juggler.
In the back.
But he's gone with one hand in the back. He might come back the other way twice as fast.
Gee whiz.
Sonny Whiting over the top. Aganis now. Aganis inside 50. Roller Kelly Mansell the deep forward. Punched away by Josh McGuinness. And out for a throw.
Quiet afternoon for Sonny Whiting, boys.
It has been, but last week he only kicked 1 goal as well.
Played up the ground a fair bit,
didn't
he?
He did indeed. It's working okay. Their forward mix is working okay, so it wouldn't be too much of a concern. You know he only needs a couple of minutes, Sonny Whiting, as this one's hurriedly kicked out by Bryce Walsh. Garnis comes to meet it, but he's crunched in a Campbell Hooker tackle and going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, he's got a penetrating left foot kick.
Hooker, long inside 50, bouncing, Tyrrell onto it. He's got Hill pressure, comes to Fife. The little pocket rocket.
Not again.
Turns. Looks at goal. And misses horribly.
Yeah, probably a bit selfish on that occasion. I love him as a player, so I find it difficult to be critical of him. But he did have Adams and Boscott at the top of the square there. He could have potentially hit up there.
Williams sends it back in for Launceston. Not long to go in this third term. The lead's 1 point, and they turn it over the Bombers. What can they do here? Incoming is Walsh.
Great
It's gone to the
kick on the
line.
left.
It's a goal, and a timely one for the Bombers. They lead it now by 9 points on the eve of three-quarter time.
Well, cometh a man, cometh a moment, and it was the captain, who is very proficient on both sides of his body, particularly around the goal. And it looks like, again, there's a bit going on between Kelly Mansell and Bryce Walsh, I think. Bryce Walsh has certainly verbally had some words to say to Kelly Mansell, almost wasn't convinced maybe about an attack on the footy from him a few moments ago, as Lauderdale get it out by 7 points.
So a 7-point margin back in the middle and straight back into a contest. Somewhat story of the afternoon. As the sun beams in, we've had rain, we've had mud.
Four seasons in one day, isn't it?
It's Hobart in a nutshell. Lead him now, brings it down. It's all red and black surrounding Hines, who does his best to try and get this one out. Pelfreyman coming in to provide support. It'll be a ball up.
It's been a pretty even quarter at the start. It was an 8-point lead to the Bombers. They currently lead by 7.
A real arm wrestle down from Smith. Lead him with some follow-up work. Sutton drops it off for Walsh. Not the best give. Sold him into trouble. But the captain only knows one way. Comes through. Hines kicks forward with a soccer, which Wilson does well. Spins.
What a great catch.
Superman
and sends McManus a task, and he does go the Superman dive, but can't quite reel it in. So yet again, broadcast wing, they reset the ruckman. Smith and Leadham. Smith down for Franklin. Can't get his kick out as Lonigan arrives, but Lauderdale should get out here through Stanley. Josh McGuinness, a cool head under pressure, steps round one, goes long to Williams. Can't quite take the grab, but he's got a free kick. So
you mentioned cool under pressure there about Josh McGuinness. He's a great driver in heavy traffic, as Alan Jeans would say.
So Williams on the far side here at Blunston Arena. Sends it to Ben McGuinness, almost took the grab. He came in and collected Shepherd there, and there's a bit of niggle afterwards.
Sammy Lonigan in the thick of it too.
It's been synonymous of this game, hasn't it? There's just been a lot of...
they're just not fond of each other, are they?
No, and certainly whenever there's been a physical, really hard contest between 2 or 3 players, they've been into each other, both teams verbally, just trying to get at each other's, trying to get it under each other's skin. It's still going on here off the ball, Damo.
So we're into the three-quarter time huddle. There is just 7 points in this game. Lauderdale with the advantage, 10-8-68. Play Launceston 9-7-61. The Bombers look like they may have kicked away, but Launceston fought back late in the quarter to make this one a really enticing tussle going into the final quarter. Of course, a spot in the grand final up for grabs.
They never give up, Launceston. We've seen that the last 2 weeks they've played here at Blunston Arena, and they've shown it again this afternoon. It looked like Lauderdale were taking control of this match, Cam, but back to within 7 points at three-quarter time.
Oh, look, I didn't certainly want to write off Launceston, but you felt halfway through that third quarter, Lauderdale were building and potentially were going to take the game away, but certainly Launceston could not be denied, and almost kicked 3 goals against the flow and got right back into this game. Gee, it's set up for a wonderful last quarter. Everything on the line for both these teams. This is what you train for. This is where you go through those dark and gloomy months of July, and where it's difficult from a motivational point of view. But now you've got an opportunity, and a lot of people go through their careers without playing in grand finals. Well, in about half an hour's time, we're going to find out who's going to be playing North Launceston in what was then a very, very even quarter of footy, boys. And as Lauderdale go in with a handy 7-point break, we know they'll kick to the right of screen, which is traditionally the scoring end. And don't know if you've got a tip, Damo, maybe just Lauderdale for mine, just on the back of maybe Launceston coming again for the 3rd time down here at Bellerive, and maybe the home ground advantage. But gee, you could not deny the Launceston Footy Club. What a great final series they've had. A
genuine 50-50 this one, I think. But I'm with you. I'm going Lauderdale. No real rhyme or reason other than I just think they deserve a grand final, and I think they'll believe the same. And I just think they'll will themselves home in this last term. Breno, you've got the goal kickers there for us.
I do for Lauderdale. A couple of multiple goal kickers in Dylan Fife and Alex Hill. Singles to Thor Boscott, Ryan Wiggins, Phil Bell-Chambers, Bryce Walsh, Nat Franklin and Joshy McGuinness. And for Launceston, 3 goals to Big Nod Nathan O'Donoghue, 2 to Connor Smith, and also Joe Boyce, and singles to Sonny Whiting and Rulla Kelly Mansell. This is going to be an absolute cracker in this final term. Which way is it going to go, boys? I've got no idea.
Yeah, we'll find out in just a little while. We'll have a brief break now and be back. Order here from Blunston Arena. Game up for grabs, just 7 points in it. Spotlight grand final on the line. It's mouth-watering stuff. So back here at Blunston Arena as the players get back into position, the support staff come off the ground. 7 points the difference. Lauderdale with the lead over Launceston, who have been such a story this September. They've come from nowhere to be right in the frame for a grand final spot, boys. Can they do it?
Well, it's a toss of the coin at the minute. You think Lauderdale, given what we've seen today, maybe slightly the better team, but this could go either way, I reckon, Brownie.
Yeah, look, it's a handy little break. It's not a huge break, the 7 point lead that Lauderdale have, but you'll know that Launceston will give absolutely everything here in the first 10 or 15 minutes just to try and surge back into this contest. And how could you deny them, the way they've gone about it? They've been the underdogs in the first two finals. It's similar to Western Bulldogs last year when it's all said and done.
I was waiting for a comparison.
It's been a long afternoon.
And that's the highest accolade you can give any team. because that final performance last year
History
was
now, Cam.
incredible.
Let go of it. History.
But look, just looking at the way they're set up, both teams, Ben McGuinness
Boscott forward.
gone forward, Boscott is forward.
Walsh forward.
Ben McGuinness been there for a while in that third quarter, of course.
So back underway, handing out were the Blues. Crunching in a tackle was Rundle, and we'll have another stoppage to start this final term. It's been a cracking game. It deserves a cracking final quarter. Just taking their time getting up here.
Shoelace issue, I think.
Old shoelace.
Really
struggling too.
Josh, who is it?
Must be a double knot.
Is it McManus? Really struggling with the loops, I think. Goes up again. Smith brings it down. In is Palfreyman, been pretty quiet. Smith out the back, farms it off. Finds
Great
Franklin.
smother.
A good smother indeed. Riding the tackle was Rundle, but unfortunately he finds McManus. And then to Fife, usually so sure by foot. McGuinness almost takes the grab. Over the back was Heavey. Couldn't reel it in. Out it goes.
Got a great vertical jump, hasn't he, McGuinness? You just saw him then, almost from a standing start. Being picked up by Williams at the moment.
So it'll be thrown in once more. Almost near attacking 50 for Lauderdale. Coming in was Donnell and crunched in a tackle.
Interesting, boys. A lot of the finals that we've seen on the stream, teams have been happy to sit one behind the footy, but hasn't been the case at all today. We've been
one-on-one.
pretty much one-on-ones.
Contested footy. Slapping on the boot was McManus looking for Ben McGuinness. Williams lets it bounce and watches it over. They're into each other again, being the story of the afternoon.
Certainly has.
I didn't know there was this much distaste between the two teams, I must admit. Not a logical rivalry.
Well, I'm thinking back to that game at Windsor Park. You know, Damo, we saw Stewie Williams in that tackle with Jordan Roberts, and there was a few comments back and forth with that. So maybe it's come out of that a little bit.
Yeah.
Clevercamp does his best to try and get out of a Lonergan tackle. He can't, and he's thrown it. So it'll be a Lonergan ball. Yeah, Lonergan was very pointed in those, wasn't he?
He was
Roberts and Scott Hill both ruled out for a long time. A great kick from Lonergan. And big Leadham throws it on the boot. Smith punches it on. Aganis gets it back for Smith. Looks to return the favour. Reels around. He's got Sutton. He's done well to jink around him. Looks for Taylor. Takes the grab. So hugging the centre square, Taylor. Looking for Kelly Mansell. Outworked, outmanoeuvred by Josh McGuinness. McGuinness down the line.
Just reckon that was the wrong option there, that kick. You've got O'Donoghue, who's been a presence all game. Just reckon he needed to be the target rather than go wide to the half-forward flank.
Alex Hill, a big long kick almost for Ben McGuinness. A chaos ball forward by Heavey. But Sam Lonergan's there to mop up, and mop up he does. Finds Aganis.
Get the feeling the coach is going to have a big last quarter here for Launceston.
He's going to need to. He comes long from Aganis. Smith with a sit. Can't quite gather. Kelly Mansell gets it. Smith on the boot. Looking for O'Donoghue. Can't take the grab. Out the back is none. It's been quiet. He's dealt with. Did he have the ball?
He's paid a throw.
He's paid a throw. He could have gone either way. Boscott unsure
Boscott doesn't
of what
realise.
to do.
He still thinks it now.
He stood still.
What's going on?
Pandemonium.
Goodness me.
So it'll go back to Scott Hill.
Someone
Well, Boscott was away. If he'd have just taken off for that footy, I reckon it would have been play on. But
And again, we're going back. This just seems chaotic.
Goodness
well,
me.
they paid a throw. Lauderdale essentially took the advantage, and Boscott took the mark and stopped. So he gave the umpire the opportunity to bring it back.
Boscott must have heard something.
Yep, definitely.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have thought he would have stopped like that.
No, they were away.
So Scott Hill. He switched back to the short sleeve, by the way, as it comes along. Smith down, punched down by Franklin and out of play. So a bizarre passage of play ends with a stoppage on centre wing.
Yeah, well, there you go. So almost 5 minutes gone, this final term. Do or die. We know the ramifications of a win and a loss as McManus has wrapped up, tried to get the footy out. Sutton and Heavey taps it down cleverly, and now McManus juggles it. Handball away, it's too far for Franklin, out of bounds. Boundary throw.
Well, we've gone 5 minutes in this last quarter. Still no score for either side.
Interesting at the huddles at three-quarter time. We know Darren Winter kept his charges in right until the 11th hour at quarter time. They were first out at the final change. Fife, handballs over the top to Sutton. Throws it on the boot to a sun-drenched 50-metre arc. Here's Hill, he wheels around, hasn't got enough on it, and it's through for a point. So that makes the margin now 8 points. As Jay Blackberry will do the kicking in duties. Garnis is all on his own, who he decides to use in the end. There's bright sunshine out there. Probably doing a little bit of havoc with the play. That's a shocking kick from Garnis, and Heavey takes the easiest of marks and will go back and kick from about 45 metres out. And we know he's got a big kick on him, but he decides to go short to Hill.
Well done,
Garnis does well. Hill still has one hand on the footy. Ball wrapped up, so probably the wrong decision there in the end for Heavey, because we know he can kick a big ball now, Brownie.
He can, and he'd be a relieved man, Garnis, after an errant kick out of the defensive 50.
A little around the grounds up in the NWFL Grand Final. Ulverston 50, Latrobe 50, approaching three-quarter time.
Wow, nice and tight up there. Latrobe, Stanley gets it off to Anderton. He drives it long, and Mark couldn't be taken. Williams is there, has the footy. Heavey wraps him up. And now Tyrrell's there as well. He does well cleverly. Gets it out. Big talk out to Kelly Mansell direction. The boundary beats him, and we'll have a ball in.
Half time in the NTFA, two boys, South Launceston 3-3-21 to Bracknell 3-4-22 in the Division 1 Seniors Grand Final.
Okay, well, we know South Launceston went through
Dogs
first into that Grand Final. Cam Brown, of course, Hall of Fame, life member. Done it all at South Launceston, leading goal kicker, former captain.
Focus.
As Launceston, they're away here. They've got the whole arc that Lauderdale do well, and they get it out of danger. And now they're away here. A lot of space here. Robbie McManus gets the footy. I think it's McManus. Tucks the footy under his arm. Moves it forward. Boscott disposes of Hines. And the ball's gone out of bounds. And some stuff happening off the ball. I think Shepherd's in a bit of trouble here. He's hobbling. Doesn't look in great shape at all.
Half time in the SFL Grand Final, two boys. Lindisfarne 6-4-40 lead New Norfolk 4-9-33.
Wow, big game there at North Hobart Oval. New Norfolk's dominance of that competition for a long time. Tyrrell does a few pirouettes before the ball stopped. Stanley throws it on the boot. What's his kick going to do? Mark couldn't be taken. Savage ends up with it for the Blues. And now Denellen wrapped up in a big tackle, holding the footy. Holding the footy, and Thor Boscott will go back and kick for Lauderdale and try and increase this lead to 14 points.
It's a brilliant tackle, because he didn't do a lot wrong, Denellen. It was just a super defensive effort from Boscott.
Thor Boscott, he's made for games like this, big games, big game player.
I'm tipping if he kicks it, an enormous celebration.
Here he goes. He's been a star for this club for a long time. Thor Boscott, grand final on the line this afternoon. His kick is offline to the top of the square, but punched through, and a point. So the margin now 9 points as we hit the almost 10-minute mark of this fourth quarter.
Out of defence comes Hines, hard up against the boundary on the broadcast wing. O'Donoghue does his darndest, can't quite take it. Follow-up effort from Smith. Gets it out, just hands it off to Denellen, who he's again met with a Boscott tackle, and he's again crunched. Wow. I tell you what, he caught one afterwards from Denellen. Boscott has his number at the moment, and what a kick. Beautiful use from Thor Boscott. Hits his target, Cam Hooker, who will line up.
And not a bad side for the left footer. Hooker, who had a burst of 10 minutes there in that third quarter.
Bit
Great
going
for
on.
his confidence if he can kick this. Sorry, Breno.
No, you're right. Thor Bostock coming to the bench and just...
Well, he's
bit
been
of a signal-
antagonistic, hasn't he?
a signal to the crowd
Cantankerous
there.
the whole game. But
Launceston faithful were giving it to him.
So Hooker comes in. Oh, never really looked like it. Ben McGuinness tries his best to keep it alive. He can't. Offline across the face.
they just can't get it out at
Another
the moment,
behind.
Launceston. Struggling to get an inside 50.
That Lauderdale zone set up well. So behinds again. Covered in mud, the youngster. Goes long, big booming ball. Lagana should be the target here. Instead, arriving was Leadham. Did his best, did well in fact. Found a number, and it's Aganis who goes long, looking for Kelly Mansell. Looks to nudge and get it out the back. He can't. Anderton picks it up, but it's out of bounds.
He needs to be, with that connecting kick, he needs to be in front, Kelly Mansell, just looking for it over the back on that occasion. But his natural athleticism and leg speed will draw him to the footy, you'd imagine, if he can get on his bike and lead McGuinness.
Emergency umpire just went and had a word to Thor Boscott on the interchange bench. Probably about that gesture he made as he came off the ground before.
So kicking down the wing is Franklin, looking for Ben McGuinness, and find him he does. Ben McGuinness
Bell
takes
Chambers
him up.
with a pretty good matchup on Tyrrell here if they can get it forward, but Hines is behind the footy at the moment, making it a 2-on-1.
Good call, Cam Brown, and that's where he hits. Bell Chambers almost. He keeps his feet, looks to burst, runs out, runs into trouble.
How's the tackle from Tyrrell?
A beautiful tackle from Tyrrell. And he
his
takes the
man.
ball for Lonnie. A little nudgy kick to Rundle. Wowee. It could have been a big goal. Coming onto the wing. Lead him almost. Out the back is Nunn. Nunn now has Whiting in his sights. Punching away was Anderton. He's done a good job, the youngster. Been matched up on Whiting this afternoon.
It's the type of situation you'd expect Sonny Whiting to bob up and kick a goal here.
Cam Brown's called it. He's called a few things this afternoon. Let's see what unfolds here.
It's always the Nostradamus.
Nostradamus. Thrown on in. O'Donoghue and Hill. Both part-timers over the back. Stanley can't gather. Comes to Fife. Straight
Important
into
smother.
the head of Taylor, and out it goes.
I mean, from a Launceston perspective, this game has not got away from them. They're still close enough. 10 points in this the last quarter. We haven't had a goal scored.
So 21 shots to 16 this afternoon, Lauderdale's favour. They lead it by 10. Comes into Launceston's attacking end of the ground. Hill back to Walsh. He wheels around and the kick's a high one, hugging the boundary. No one could take the mark and eventually over.
Yeah, it's just a real arm wrestle, isn't it, in this last quarter, as you would expect it to be, with a grand final up for grabs next week against North Launceston, and both teams giving their absolute all.
I'm sure the North Lonnie boys are watching this one this afternoon, just checking out their opponents for next week. We just don't know who it is just yet, but we're edging closer and closer to that moment. Ball right on the paint of 50. Real sort of scrap at the minute. Here's Whiting exploding out of the forward line, and Lauderdale, though, out of danger, and they bring it towards us. Williams has it. Handball's over the top to Josh McGuinness. He slows himself up, really cool under pressure, gets
Great
it
kick.
inside. It's a great kick. And now they're away through Franklin, inside 50. McGuinness couldn't hold on to it. Hines now tucks the footy under his arm and gets it away. Lead him all on his own. He'll collect. Handball over the top.
Just didn't sit, did it, on
Didn't
that
at
occasion
all.
for young Taylor?
No, and now Lauderdale punch it forward once more, and Hill takes the mark.
Gee, the first goal, this last quarter becomes important now.
So Hill drives it long in the McGuinness direction. Can he take one on this occasion? He
he had his
can.
name written
He's
all
got
over it.
Wiggins all by himself in the square. That's all too late, though. I think he's going to have two opponents now to deal with. Wiggins goes up, and McGuinness, unfortunately, just saw him too late. He was all by himself.
He loves that situation, Benny McGuinness, where he can just get up, get a launch at the footy, so strong overhead. Great vertical leap.
A little let off there for Launceston. That could have been a real game breaker if they got that to Wiggins right in the square. And now Vandervelde. Boscott hits the post. So 2 let-offs in the space of 30 seconds there, really, for Launceston. You just feel the next goal may have a big part in this game. And now Lonigan. His kick goes forward. Oh, Smith is dealt with. And now Gillo, Aganis near the boundary, takes it over.
He's been brave, Aganis. He's tried to take the game on in this last quarter, been really positive with his offensive running, trying to get something happening for his team. Need to be clean here from the stoppages, Launceston.
And it comes again. Rundle tucks the footy under his arm. Anywhere to go, he gets boot to ball in the direction of Whiting, who takes a wonderful mark. Sonny Whiting, he goes forward, he's got Kelly Mansell, but a great mark, Josh McGuinness.
Get in front.
Josh McGuinness, big handball over the top, and now they're away. Bell Chambers has the footy. He gets it back to his teammate, who goes forward to McGuinness again, Ben McGuinness, and out of bounds. So, gee, edging closer to time on here. The margin is 11 points. Still anyone's game. It's up for grabs, a grand final spot for next weekend.
Well, at this rate, it's not going to be a long quarter.
In again, down from Leadham. Coming in was Boscott, just thrown on the boot by Williams over the back. Wiggins! Good body position and takes the clunk. He's been quiet today and he bobs up.
Well, he has been quiet today and just used his body very well on that occasion. Just did a little bit of work before the footy came in, able to nudge his opponent under the footy, and now gets an opportunity to kick his second.
Been quiet, but he can strike when it matters. Wiggins comes in, both fists are up, and perhaps Lauderdale are on their way to a grand final.
Well, it's been an absolute arm wrestle the first 17 minutes of this last quarter, and it was just a hack ball forward there for Lauderdale, and Wiggins stood tall. Very important goal. Gives Launceston a very handy break of 17 points. So you'd think Launceston now, they've got to kick 3 in the last 10 minutes to get back into this game. Big centre bounce clearance coming up for them.
All the work ahead of the Blues, there's no doubt about that. All the ascendancy with the Bombers at the moment. Boscott does well, but it's all Launceston chasing it. Shepherd goes backwards. Denellen wrapped up. Lonigan, big high tackle, and he's holding the ball, holding the footy.
He had nothing to go to there on that occasion, Sam Lonigan, so he almost just had to take the tackle.
Boscott goes inside 50. Ball lands in the middle of nowhere. But they do well, the Bombers. Oh, here's Wiggins again. Can he get another? He hits the post.
Oh, why would he?
Hits the post. Interesting kick, Brownie.
Well, it was because there was no one in front of him. He actually could have run another 5 metres and kicked it almost from the goal square, and could have kicked the drop punt. Geez. But as is the way of the modern day player,
you just hope that doesn't come back to bite him.
Yeah, probably could have been the sealer if he kicked it. As Whiting takes a nice mark right on the boundary, far side of the ground here at Blunston Arena. A sunbathed Blunston Arena. Had heavy rain early in the game, but now beautiful conditions out there as the ball trickles out for another boundary throw in.
Well, they need the next one, obviously.
Oh, we're almost at time on. The lead is 18 points. And you think, yeah, the next one, Brownie, will just about be the killer. The killer blow for the Blues. Still plenty happening. As we see Thor Boscott down on his haunches in the middle of the ground.
He's doing it again. Some sort of...
What's going on there,
squat or a...
Crouching tiger, hidden dragon. I can get it and he'll explode.
Here's the Blues now, but only as far as Clever Camp. He comes back around. Boscott back up on his feet, takes a mark.
He's composed with the footy, Clever Camp, isn't he?
He is indeed. Boscott goes short, hits his target. And the Bombers now, Sutton. He's got some time and space. Wiggins! Wiggins takes the mark. He plays on quickly, spots up his teammate, and it's Walsh, and he's been
don't pay that
pushed over. Brownie says no 50.
Absolutely not.
Bryce Walsh will go back. and possibly kick the sealer for the Lauderdale Football Club and send them through to a grand final next week. He's been good today, Brownie, Bryce Walsh.
Yeah, I liked his game. Kicked a great captain's goal in the third quarter, and I thought some of his contested ball in that second quarter inside the forward 50 was terrific.
Bryce Walsh, can he kick a captain's goal and send his team through to the grand final? He can't. It's off to the left for a behind. But the margin now out to 19 points. You still think that is going to be enough at this stage for Lauderdale to live to fight another day next week.
The light just flickering for Launceston though as Hines brings them out of defence. It was Gillo with a fly. He contested with his teammate and Kelly Mansell. Gillo gets up. They're in a hurry now, Launceston. Oh, it somehow got out the back to Lonigan. Lonigan, not a lot to kick to. Just nudges for his ruckman. He can move it further sideways to Smith. Got a few metres to work with. Smith for Whiting. A bouncing ball. Whiting doesn't mind these. Handball's back for himself. Keeps it in, but he's met with 1 or 2 or even 3 bombers in trouble.
Well, he did the best he could there, Sonny Whiting, because he was outnumbered 3-1. The ball was held up by Sam Lonigan because he actually didn't have anyone to go to in that forward 50, so that's why he went lateral.
So O'Donoghue down for Rundle. Tries to get it out of there. It comes to Clevercamp. He can't make anything of it. Again, another contest. And another stoppage.
He'd be pretty happy the way his backline's held up since quarter time, Darren Winter. Launceston kicked 5 goals in the opening quarter, just the 4 goals since then.
So Boscott kicks it out of the defence, but it's straight to Vandervelde, chopping off nicely. A real feature of his game. The big man kicking, not generally his strongest asset. Tries to get this one moving. Soccering with Stanley. Jumping in is Lonigan. The coach trying to get involved here. Denellen out for Tyrrell. Rides the tackle. Throws it on the boot. None. Punched away. Won by Anderton. They're out now, Lauderdale. Comes from McManus. To Bellchambers. Sells some candy. Goes back inside. Stanley has a handball over the top. Uses it. It's Adams. McManus now. Looking for Ben McGuinness. The kick.
Well done.
He's chopped off by Vandervelde. Jeez, he's a good one-on-one player.
He's a ripper. He really reads it well in those situations. His intercept marking or spoiling's been terrific all year.
Leadham keeps it alive and probably not to Launceston's favour. Kicking down the line is Walsh. Well intercepted by Savage. They're just got to throw everything at it now, Launceston. And that won't help. Scott Hill can't
This hasn't
soft
gone
that
into
attack.
the game, Jake Nunn. He's had a couple of knocks, which probably hasn't helped his body in this game.
A powerful long boot down the line. Alex Hill sets himself for it. Vandervelde gets in. Doesn't get it out of play. Boscott tries to find Alex Hill. Then he comes and tackles. A bouncing ball, holding the ball.
The concern now from Launceston is it's not going to be a long quarter.
No.
They're in trouble. Lauderdale are 1 goal away from really putting this one to bed.
Well,
It's already a bad
they've
day,
had
mate.
their opportunities.
Boscott.
1 goal 6 in this
Sells
last
some
quarter.
candy, a little tumbler. Alex Hill can't gather. Hurriedly kicking out was Lonigan. But it'll go back. It's a free kick for Taylor.
Now, they've just got to be brave now. They're going to have to
They're going to have to kick
bite
them
off
in.
some kicks through the middle of the ground to try and open it up.
They're going to have to kick them in next to no time. Lauderdale, you think at home here. Savage, play on. Has to give it back to Taylor. They're in all sorts of strife. Alex Hill just throws it on the boot. Agana sets himself and takes the grab. Made to earn it by Wiggins.
In fairness, their backline's held up really well in this last quarter. They just haven't been able to transition it forward or centre to any real meaningful and dangerous inside 50 entries.
So Tyrrell over the top for Aganis. They're being brave.
Too high.
Boscott burrows in. Cops one high. He looks in a spot of bother straight away.
Alex Hill having a bit to say to Aganis.
I guess it does look like Lauderdale are going to get through, boys, but you would think potentially they've got through this game unscathed from a
Couple of reports, Brent, which will be
22.
interesting.
Yeah, that'll be the story during the week.
Indeed it will. A long high ball from Boscott. And sitting under it was Blackberry.
Having said that, Thor Boscott has actually limping from the ground. So
Oh,
let's hope
goodness.
that's
That would be the
precaution.
worst end to
dear.
it, especially considering he's had quite the impact. Gillo now, he's got an outlet and he'll use it in Hines. Hines shakes, bakes, puts it down the wing, looking for Whiting. A timely touch from Stanley. Will now run it down. He's shoved aside by Smith. Smith just looking for Kelly Mansell. Can he take the grab? 3, 4, 5. Paid.
Good enough.
Paid. Kelly Mansell on the boot inside. Whiting. Waste no time. Oh, that's a shocker. Luckily, Lonigan's there to mop up, and he puts it through. Is there time, boys?
Well, it's emblematic of the way they go about their footy. Was that touched off the boot? Must have been.
Wow, so behind.
Put it down as a goal. I was about to say, synonymous the way they go about their footy, Launceston. They just have not given up at any stage.
No, they haven't wished Wilson out of defence, but it doesn't leave the 50. Stanley now gets it onto the wing. Under it was Adams, a late inclusion. He's had an impact. Comes for Heavey. Heavey, a long booming boot looking for Ben McGuinness out the back. He does well to work. Garner's under it and kicks a tumbling ball through the big sticks. Lauderdale are into their first ever grand final.
Well, he's kicked his first goal, and we speak about his versatility, Ben McGuinness. Started the game down back, had his work cut out on different occasions on O'Donoghue, but such is his versatility, you can throw him forward. And he's been able to get up and take some great marks and capped off his work there. It was a great inside 50 entry there from Lauderdale over the back. Gave him every chance, McGuinness. Unfortunately for Garnis, he slipped over, and then it was all pretty easy there, and Lauderdale are going to go through to a grand final, boys.
Well, you know it's party time now. You can enjoy this moment if you're Lauderdale. You're through. There's not much time to go. We just saw Bryce Walsh in the ruck, which was extraordinary, and there it is. Lauderdale are into their first ever TSL Grand Final against North Launceston next week. Big winners this afternoon against Launceston. What a story.
What a story indeed. 24-point victors. Launceston made them earn it the entire way, Cam Brown, but Lauderdale, a tremendous story. They were 0-3 to start the season. They've fought back and lost just 2 or 3 games since then, and they're into their first ever TSL Grand Final. Oh,
full credit to them, and thoroughly deserved. They had to do it the hard way. Launceston certainly didn't make it easy for them. Looks like Thor Boscott has got that left thigh heavily strapped at the moment, so let's hope he's okay. His body language looks pretty positive, though, at the moment as he's celebrating with some supporters down on the boundary line. But well done. Congratulations to Lauderdale, and great for the competition. They've been brewing in terms of the demographic of their list and games played, and a lot of these boys have played plenty of footy together, whether that be at underage level for Lauderdale or Mariners, and they've come through, and Darren Winter's been with them for a long time, so it's great for him that he gets an opportunity with the boys to play in a grand final next week. And look, they're under siege a little bit, particularly in the first quarter when it was 5 goals to 2 at one stage, and they just worked their way back into it, particularly in that second quarter when they kicked 5 goals, and they just hacked away at it in the last quarter, and in the end it was a goal to Wiggins and McGuinness that broke the back of Launceston. So full credit to Lauderdale, but we can't go without obviously saying some great things about Launceston Footy Club, because they scraped into the finals, came down here as underdogs in 2 particular games against last year's premiers Glenorchy and Clarence, who are a top 3 team, and in the end it probably just caught up with them, boys, didn't it? The travel, the long season, playing away from home, and they weren't able to just get it done in the end, and just couldn't kick a goal in that last quarter, just a solitary point. But gee, they can hold their heads up high. The future's really bright for the Launceston Footy Club, and if they can recruit and retain a lot of these players, I think the future's really bright, because I think they had an outstanding final series, and they can hold their head up very, very high, I would think.
I think they're going to be a genuine force next year, Cam Brown. I think what we've seen this final series is just a warning sign for the rest of the competition, especially if, as rumoured, they're linked heavily with Mitch Thorpe. If they can add him to this very talented young group, they're going places, Launceston. But today, unquestionably, is about Lauderdale. As we've talked about quite a bit, a lot of near misses for Lauderdale in final series. They're finally there. They're finally on the big stage. The grand final next week. up against North Launceston. It's going to be a terrific week for the club.
Yeah, and they've just got to wipe last week away, obviously, because they didn't get anything out of that second semi-final. They couldn't play any worse. They've just got to go in there with confidence, know that their best is good enough, and it has been, because during the season they actually defeated North Launceston in a terrific game up there at UTAS Stadium now. And full credit to them, and let's hope Thor Boscott's okay and they can get through with a fit 22. It won't be easy against North Launceston because they've been a terrific team all year. But look, well done to the Lauderdale Footy Club. You've got the goal kickers, Breno, before we run through some best players.
I certainly do, Brownie. 2 goals to Dylan Fife, 2 to Ryan Wiggins, 2 also to Alex Hill, and singles to Thor Boscott, Phil Bellchambers, Bryce Walsh, Nat Franklin, Benny McGuinness and Josh McGuinness. And for Launceston, multiple goal kickers with Nathan O'Donoghue with 3, Connor Smith with 2 and Joey Boyce with 2, and singles to Sonny Whiting, Sammy Lonigan and Rulla Kelly Mansell.
It was a pretty even contribution, wasn't it, from the Lauderdale team? I thought their back half really stood up throughout. I thought Stanley was pretty solid. Sutton was another one. Clever Camp, just his use of the ball under pressure. And gee, Josh McGuinness was fantastic again today. Whenever he had the ball in hand, it was just a steady decision under traffic, just to be able to work his way through and spot up an opponent. His efficiency by foot and hand was terrific. I thought Robbie McManus had some good moments in this game too. Damo, particularly early, and some of his defensive work I thought was really good. And we mentioned the captain, Bryce Walsh, and particularly after quarter time, certainly worked his way into it. Dylan Fife had some important touches, so very damaging with hand and foot. Bellchambers bobbed up with a couple of goals. Alex Hill as well. Ben McGuinness too was pretty important. Even Hooker had that 5 or 10 minute period in the third quarter where he certainly went about it. And Thor Boscott I thought was terrific today. At times you think potentially his emotions are going to boil over, but to his credit, he certainly stuck at the task and won a lot of the footy, hard inside and out, and was able to be a terrific player for his team.
It's going to be a big story during the week for Boscott if that injury is something to worry about. He's obviously a very important player to him.
His body language was good.
Yeah.
I'd be hopeful he'd be all right.
Yeah.
Usually in scenario responded and pretty flat, but he was up and about, Thor Boscott, and every reason to be, because Lauderdale Bombers, who would have thought 3 weeks in, I think we were wondering whether they'd make the finals, Lauderdale.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're here on the big stage.
It's going to be exciting, isn't it? Yeah, and you rightly said during the week, Damo, it was obviously a disastrous result last weekend for the Bombers, but you wouldn't expect them to go up there and dish that sort of performance up again. They would have learned a lot from that game, and I think we can expect a cracking grand final next week.
Yeah, I think we'll see hopefully a game a bit more like their earlier bouts. The big one up there where they actually trumped North Launceston by a point. I think that's probably in more keeping of what we can hopefully expect from the grand final next week.
They've just got to start well, don't they? Just to get their confidence up and obviously get some energy into the game, playing away from home. And obviously, as we've mentioned a few times, forget about last week. They're in a grand final. Anything can happen. It's not always the favourites that get up. But great for the footy club, isn't it, that they're able to play their very first ever TSL grand final. But from Launceston, as you mentioned, Damo, you just think with some of those young players coming through, Danella in the back half, Tyrrell was really strong. Let's hope Hines gets drafted, but he's a player that you can certainly look forward to if he doesn't get drafted from a Launceston perspective, because he's been a terrific player. I love the work of Williams down back. Vandervelde was really strong. Connor Smith had some moments in that second quarter. Aganis is a much improved player. Casey Brown's another one that they can look forward to next year. Brendan Taylor. So you throw in some experience in Blackberry, Rundle and Lonigan, and this team's got a bright future, as you mentioned.
Really bright future, and I'm looking forward to Brent Costelloe's 3 and 1.
No, I don't do the votes anymore.
He's just dropped them all together.
Yep, gone. So, Brownie, what's your
I tried to give as many players there a mention as we could.
It's a massive result for Lauderdale Football Club, no question about it. And we're back next week from UTAS Stadium, a start time of 3:30 p.m. for the big one, the big dance between North Launceston and Lauderdale. It's going to be an absolute cracker. We'll also have the TSLW Grand Final before it live with commentary from City Park Radio. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage today. A cracking prelim final. Lauderdale Bombers through to the Grand Final. Take on North Launceston. Join us then, 3:30 p.m. next Saturday. Bye for now.
Hey, would you give the vote?